Hello everybody and welcome to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and for the first time we are coming to you from Lime Rock Park. We're getting set for what is going to be an absolutely fantastic race as we get ready to go green in a little under half an hour's time. Let's head down to our colleagues at the MSRN radio and get ready to go racing.
Yeah, I think biggest thing would be keeping all the tires on the racetrack. Usually these road courses get pretty chaotic, especially at the end of the race. Everyone kind of lose their minds, and there's a lot of pushing and shoving, and then a lot of them end up in the dirt. So I think not doing that will be important, but also just getting more experience road racing throughout the race. So we get 100 laps today, so that's a little longer than our normal road course, which gives me more time to go through every corner and just learn a little bit and hopefully get a little faster. But, yeah, I think there'll be a little bit of attrition in there, and also, having a good truck and being consistent throughout the race be very important.
With what you're running for right now to try to get into the postseason here, and you're looking at those points as you run, you're going to start mid-pack at a track that's very tight. A lot of things you can't control, but what can you control to make sure you get this truck to the finish line today?
Yeah, just mind my P's and Q's. If someone's going to wreck you, it's probably because you roughed them up. So, that'll be unfortunate. But you mentioned the points. We've had a really good year so far, and a lot of top 10 finishes. We were, above the cut line before our wreck last week at Pocono and had a really good run there. So we've been fast every week, and I've got confidence in our guys to bring fast trucks to the next 4 races. So, I think some things happened the last couple weeks that are out of our control and hurt us, but I'm looking forward to the rest of the season because there's some good tracks on the schedule for us.
Be safe.
Thank you.
All right, Jake Garcia getting ready to roll off from the 17th position here at Lime Rock.
And as Jason was talking to Jake in the background, we could hear rounds of applause. A huge crowd here on the grounds today. Driver introductions getting underway as we draw closer to pre-race ceremonies.
From legendary races to heart-pounding finishes, NASCAR Channel is your 24/7 pit stop for all things NASCAR. Streaming classic moments, iconic rivalries, and behind-the-scenes stories from the world's greatest drivers. Dive into the NASCAR culture with shows about the cars, the teams, and the personalities that make it America's most exciting motorsport. Best of all, it's completely free. Stream anytime, anywhere. No fees, no strings, just NASCAR. Start streaming now on Tubi.
I'm Kyle Petty, and I want to tell you about a place that's near and dear to my heart. Victory Junction. It's a year-round camp that gives kids with complex medical and physical conditions life-changing experiences that are fun, empowering, and always free for families. Please help Victory Junction support kids who need it the most by getting involved today. Whether you know a child who could benefit, want to volunteer, or join our team, you can be a part of something truly special. Learn more by visiting victoryjunction.org.
34 drivers getting ready to take the green flag here today. Only 2 have ever won in this series on a road course. They are Corey Heim and Ben Rhodes. From Lime Rock Park, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options now available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-375-3232. 800-375-3232. That's 800-375-3232. National Debt Relief, the official debt relief partner of NASCAR.
Welcome back to Lime Rock Park, where we are getting ready for the running of the inaugural Liuna 150 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Again, one of just 4 races remaining in the regular season. Let's go back trackside while we have an opportunity to hear from more drivers in today's lineup. Steve Post is standing by. Steve, you are with the driver a lot of folks are pointing to as the one to beat.
They sure are. Corey Heim won the pole position, 100.176 miles per hour around this racetrack. So, Corey, you won the pole position. Just kind of tell us, though, what are some of the unique characteristics, some of the things about this racetrack that stand out to you here at Lime Rock?
Yeah, I feel like, first of all, being able to race in this group of fans is pretty unique to us. I don't feel like we have a lot of opportunities to race kind of in the New England area, if you will. So here in New Hampshire, being added to the schedule is cool just because I know there's a lot of passionate fans up here in this region. So first of all, that's really cool, but also the unique challenges this place presents with how narrow it is and the elevation changes, the hill that everyone talks about, the downhill as well is really cool. Kind of feeling like your body gets light as if you're in a streetcar, going over a hump or something. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I've had a lot of years, honestly, on this racetrack virtually from like iRacing, and also TRD presented a really good sim model for this place. So it's really cool to see how far the progress has come with track scanning and stuff. Because when I showed up, I felt like I've been here 5 times when I've never actually seen the place. So that was cool. But all in all, just very happy to be here and very happy to have a fast Tundra ready to go.
There's 2 words we talk about a lot in this sport: track position. How aggressive do you need to hang on to track position? How significant is that going to be to win this race today?
Yeah, coming into the weekend, I thought it was going to be number 1 priority to hold yourself out front. As practice went yesterday, I feel like we saw a lot more tire wear than we were kind of intending to see. So, it's going to be more of a balance than I anticipated as far as, you want to hold the lead and do everything you can to stay up front. But also, if someone's pushing you really, really hard and they want to go, it might be best to just kind of concede that position and maybe try to get it back, later in the run. So, I think the restarts are going to be the toughest part. I think being on driver's right is going to be really important through 1 and 2. But once again, you just have to balance tire saving with track position. I still think track position is kind of leaning towards the way you want to go, but it's cool to see that we have some more obstacles to surpass as drivers out here.
There we go. Corey Heim leads us to green here. It is a 3rd career road course pole. And when you're tying Ron Fellows, Ron Hornaday, and Boris Said, you're doing something pretty special on the road courses here in the Truck Series.
A 4-time winner this season, and he has led laps in each and every NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race thus far this season. This driver spotlight is presented by Toyota. For the latest Toyota Gazoo racing information, visit tgrna.com. Let's go back down to pit road now and hear from the driver starting in the 2nd spot in the outside of the front row, making his NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series debut here tonight. But Jason Toy, no stranger to Lime Rock Park.
He is definitely no stranger to this place. He's won here a couple of times in sports car racing. Jordan Taylor, welcome to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And Brian Patty told me last week at Pocono he had you in the truck. He got a big old smile on his face. How excited are you?
Yeah, I'm excited. Obviously, the weekend started off well. Crooked some practice yesterday, P2 and qualifying today. So, yeah, Brian obviously gave me a fast truck. I think the race is going to be a much different story with the deg and everything and over the long run. So, yeah, I'm glad we're starting up front, hopefully out of the bulk of the trouble. But, yeah, just looking to have a nice, clean race.
I'll say, what's the biggest challenge for you coming from the sports car side to the heavier trucks on a track like this?
I think it's just the unknown. I mean, I know the track well. I know how to race here, but it's understanding the tire deg, how these guys race, where we can make passes, where we need to defend. So I'll be learning a lot in that first stage, and I know I'm around fast guys and smart guys, so I'm looking to learn from them in the first stage and kind of using that the rest of the race.
Don't be a stranger to NASCAR.
Yeah, I don't want to be. Yeah, thank you. It's good to be back.
Jordan Taylor, back behind the wheel in the NASCAR Series, this time for his first time ever in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Driving for Spire Motorsports here this afternoon, a 27-time winner in the WeatherTech Sports Car Series and a 2021 winner here at Lime Rock with Corvette Racing.
After an exciting night at the Monster Mile, only 3 races remain in the regular season on the 2025 eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. NASCAR's officially sanctioned esports series featuring the top sim racers from around the world. The Segment 3 title and the playoff grid still hang in the balance. Don't forget to tune in Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern for round 12 from Chicago on eNASCAR.com. Brought to you by Coca-Cola iRacing and NASCAR.
Hey guys, Corley Joy here. Make sure you catch Stag and Pennies on all the NASCAR platforms each week. We talk to some of our greatest drivers, winners, relevant stories. You never know who's going to show up.
Hall of Famers, everything. And you're going to get the best race highlights, the best content, the best scanner audio, the best reactions, and by far the best pit road breakdowns of any other podcast. Corey, where can they hear us?
You can find us on NASCAR on Tubi, SiriusXM Channel 90, wherever you find your podcasts, or on YouTube. Go check us out.
Back to hear from more of today's starters in the Liuna 150 in a moment from Lime Rock Park. This is the Motor Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Off the track, the Motor Racing Network is the place. Hear from NASCAR crew chiefs on MRN Crew Call. All the happenings from regional touring series and local tracks on NASCAR Coast to Coast. Sprint Car Talk on Winged Nation. NASCAR history on MRN Classic Races. And hear from the drivers on NASCAR Live. MRN podcasts available on MRN.com, YouTube, or your favorite podcast platform.
Don't risk losing the trusted news, traffic, sports, and weather you get from AM radio stations. It's time to make your voice heard. We need Congress to pass the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act to keep AM radio in cars. When internet and cell services are out, AM could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 39179 and tell Congress to pass this critical legislation now.
The message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Getting set to go racing here for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, the Liuna 150 here on the NASCAR Racing Network. Let's go back down trackside and hear from our most recent winner last week at the Pocono Raceway. Standing by with Steve Post.
Lane Riggs did pick up the win last week at Pocono Raceway. Down here meeting some fans and signing autographs, just having a great time. It is so cool to see so many fans here at Lime Rock Park, maybe new fans to NASCAR and the Truck Series as well. Lane, when we look at your life over the last week here, picking up that win, I think I asked you in Pocono and Victory Lane, the relief factor. What has the week been like as your life, your playoff life has changed here with your team?
It's been great. Just a little bit of relief. You know, these races, 2 road courses and 2 short tracks that are kind of wild cards coming up. So just really glad that we'd be locked in. Have some fun today, coming to a road course, which I don't have a lot of experience at, with the most confidence I possibly can winning the previous weekend. But no, I'm just excited to be here. The venue's great. Got some good track position. I guess I did turn out to be a decent road course racer, so I'm just hoping for a good, smooth race. I'm sure I'm going to learn a whole lot, especially from Jordan and Corey that's won so many truck races at the road courses. This will at COTA. I only made it to the end of the first stage. We had an electrical issue, so I was just really getting my feet wet when we went out. So just really excited for today. Like I said, I'm just happy to be here, and hopefully it's just first of many here.
Can you tell our listeners about the sensation of elevation change here? What is that like? I ask a lot of people about the uphill, and they said don't sleep on the downhill. What is it like here?
Yeah, the downhill is sketchier in my opinion. Think about a roller coaster. Like when you get to the top of the hills and the bottom, the way your stomach gets loaded and kind of unloads, that feeling, it's the same kind of way, except you're having to work behind the wheel. It's a very unique place, a lot of fun. I'm hoping there's a few more passing zones than we're expecting to be. Hopefully it'll widen out a little bit and we'll have a great race.
There we go. Lane Riggs, he starts in position number 3, last week's winner at Pocono.
And indeed, this track nestled in the Berkshire foothills, former gravel pit, this property. So as a result, elevation changes a big part of the layout of this racetrack. Let's hear from the driver who's starting in 5th. In fact, he's ready to make his NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series debut, and he's with Jason Toy.
Getting the start, his first ever start on the road course here at the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, but he comes to a place that he's pretty familiar with in Brent Cruz. And top 5 starting spot here for you today. What do you think about this track, and how's this track going to adapt to these trucks?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not too sure. I think it's definitely going to, tighten up some. This race is going to be a long and brutal one. I think it's the longest one in the Truck Series all year. We had 100 laps, and it's about a minute long. So going to be long and grueling and hot. But, I feel like we have a really good truck, working on some things to try to get the balance a little bit better for me. But feeling pretty comfortable, and, hopefully we can charge our way a little bit more forward.
Let's talk a little more about the fact of the duration for this. You run ARCA races a little bit shorter. You run time races in Trans Am. So how do you prepare for this physically at a track like this? And it's not terribly hot, but it is very humid today.
Yeah, very humid, hard to breathe for sure. If you're out here, you'll definitely understand. But yeah, just working out in the heat room at the Toyota Facility Center has helped me a bunch. Breathing in 100 degrees roughly and working out in that for an hour is a really good prep. So yeah, being in the gym definitely helps, but just super grateful to be here. Wouldn't be out here without JBL and Toyota Racing, and just want to thank the good Lord above for keeping us safe all weekend, and we got 2 more races to go. So looking forward to it. Tricon Garage built a great truck for me, and hopefully we can put it where it belongs.
Good luck.
Thank you.
There you go. Brett Cruz starting 5th here at Lime Rock.
A driver who is pulling double duty here this afternoon. He will also be going to the post later today here at Lime Rock in the ARCA Menards Series.
Want to know the latest with short track racing around the country? Well, one show has you covered, NASCAR Coast to Coast. Hi, I'm Chris Wilner. Join me each week as we break down the biggest headlines in grassroots racing and in NASCAR's regional and touring series. We'll also talk with rising stars from your favorite short track. Once again, it's NASCAR Coast to Coast, and you can watch or listen today on YouTube, Facebook, MRN.com, or on your favorite podcast platform.
We are the voice of NASCAR.
The green flag is in the air, and we are underway. The Great American Race.
The Motor Racing Network. NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, and Craftsman Truck Series Racing live on your hometown radio station and MRN or NASCAR.com. Martinsville, Talladega, the Chicago Street Course. We have the side-by-side action and last lap passes for the win.
Photo finishes. Ryan Blaney will win.
The voice of NASCAR, the Motor Racing Network.
Moments ago, we heard Brent Cruz make reference to the distance of today's race, 100 laps, 147.8 miles. Stage breaks at lap 35 and at lap 70. From Lime Rock Park, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
An exciting night at the Monster Mile. Only 3 races remain in the regular season on the 2025 eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. NASCAR's officially sanctioned esports series featuring the top sim racers from around the world. The Segment 3 title and the playoff grid still hang in the balance. Don't forget to tune in Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern for round 12 from Chicago on eNASCAR.com. Brought to you by Coca-Cola iRacing and NASCAR.
Looking for weekly motorsports podcasts to stay up to date on what's happening on and off the track? The Motor Racing Network is the place. Hear from NASCAR crew chiefs on MRN Crew Call. All the happenings from regional touring series and local tracks on NASCAR Coast to Coast. Sprint Car Talk on Winged Nation. NASCAR history on MRN Classic Races. And hear from the drivers on NASCAR Live. MRN podcasts available on MRN.com, YouTube, or your favorite podcast platform.
Welcome back. Getting ready for the running of the Liona 150 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Back to the starting grid we go. A half dozen drivers in the lineup today are making their career debut for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. One of them is standing by with our Steve Post.
And that is Thomas Annunziata, the 20-year-old racer from Colts Neck, New Jersey, but a lot of sports car racing, including racing here with 3 podium finishes here at Lime Rock. So TA2 cars versus trucks. Can you even describe what the differences are?
Yes, of course. The perfect way to describe it is a TA2 car is basically a NASCAR, but the sensitivity is up. So it's like a video game. When you turn the sensitivity up, everything happens quicker. That's how that is. So when you get to these things, everything happens slower. You have to put more inputs, heavier inputs into what you're doing in these trucks because they're heavier. But overall, it's all the same. The Trans Am cars have a little bit more downforce. They're 800 pounds lighter. But overall, it's you learn from Trans Am, and it helps you get into this stuff for sure.
Early in this race, what's your goal? What's the game plan for stage 1 as you learn the trucks, as you learn the competitors? What is the goal, stage 1, and then what's the ultimate goal here? What would make it a good day?
Well, I think it's going to be chaotic here at the end, especially turn 1 is probably the best opportunity for passes to be made, and I think all 40 of us know that. And especially at the end, I think we're going to see some beating and banging, and the plan is to keep all fenders on it and ride around probably for the beginning. I don't know how good my car will be over a long run. If we're fast enough, we'll try to make some moves, but I think it's going to be chaotic, and we're going to try to stay out of trouble and put ourselves in position at the end here.
Sounds like a great afternoon, that's for sure. Thomas Annunziata starts in position, number 13, I believe, here today.
Making his Truck Series debut here this afternoon. Not new to the national spotlight, though. An 11-time Xfinity Series starter and 4 starts in the ARCA Series, where he finished second at Daytona a year ago. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the NASCAR Racing Network. Closing in on opening ceremonies here at Lime Rock Park in the Leona 150 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Let's go back down trackside, hear from another one of our competitors, and one of our race winners this year picked up the checkered flag at the Nashville Superspeedway a couple of weeks ago, talking about the driver starting 7th in Rajah Caruth. Jason Toy.
And Kylie's got the sticker that signifies he's got that victory so far this season on the side of his HendrickCars.com Chevy Silverado. And Rajah wanted me to sit down here with you. All right, the old man's got to work his way down. All right, let's talk about this. You come to a track here you never ran a truck at before. How do you prepare for Lime Rock before you get here?
Yeah, I think we just, fortunately for us Chevrolet drivers, we have a lot of great tools really at our disposal. I've personally spent a lot of time with Ron Fellows since I was ARCA racing, and then being in the program with Josh Wise and Scott Speed, and having track days out at Spring Mountain, Mid-Ohio, and we had one here a month or so ago, and just kind of accumulating experience over the years and learning things about threshold braking and shift points and shapes through corners. So not only being with those guys, but having really proficient teammates like Connor Zillage, Nick Sanchez, just really good road racers. Obviously Jordan this weekend. Just learning from those guys is really how the preparation comes for a new place like this. It's a lot of fun, for sure.
All right, you got that one win to start off the season here, get you in the playoffs. How does that allow you to be aggressive, or does it allow you to take different chances here at a road course race?
Yeah, Jason, I think for us and our 71 HendrickCars.com Chevrolet team, I mean, we're just trying to stack a little bit more for the playoffs. Last year we just had one win, didn't win a stage until Bristol, and not having any extra points in the postseason, we got to the round of 8, but we didn't get any further than that. So I think that's the goal before we get to the playoffs, but also for when we get into that first round, right, just to stack some more playoff points and just make our lives a little bit easier to point into the championship for, because the 11's a lock for sure, but I think every other spot is kind of up for grabs. So definitely looking to be one of the 4 and confident in our group to do so. So thankful to the men and women on my Spire group and Mr. H, Miss Linda, and everybody at HendrickCars.com.
All right, as always, have fun.
Yes, sir. We will have fun today. This is a fun racetrack for sure.
All right, looking forward to following him here throughout the afternoon. Rajah Caruth in Truck 71. He starts 7th today.
And speaking of fun, Kyle Rickey, as a native of the state of Connecticut, I know you're from a different part of the state. How much fun is it for you to see this day happen?
Yeah, it's been a long time coming for NASCAR and the NASCAR National Series. It's been since the 1970s, since the national spotlight has been here in Connecticut, but on an oval at the Thompson Speedway up on the other side of the state, up in the northeast corner. So going to be a great day and well supported, and that's something that I'm proud of up here in New England, is motorsports in general here in this part of the country supported here, whether it be ovals, road racing. We see it at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway every year when the Cup Series goes there, and at short tracks around the region.
I wish I had the concession for the Stafford Motor Speedway T-shirts, because I've seen a lot of them here today. You touched on the crowd that's here today. A lot of gently sloping hillsides surround this 1.5-mile layout. Folks started showing up at about 7:15 this morning to put the blanket down, put the camping or lawn chairs in place. It is an incredible crowd here today.
A great crowd, and the population of this town has gone up about 20% here in Lakeville, Connecticut, which is located in Litchfield County. The town, 3.69 square miles. The population right around 1,000 residents. They're approaching about 15 to 20,000 fans here this afternoon, gathered here at Lime Rock Park on the hillsides, both the outside of this course and to the inside, just behind the pit lane.
It is just about time to go trackside for our pre-race ceremonies. Already the presentation of colors taking place at the start-finish line. Racetrack, we've heard drivers reference the width of the track, 30 feet wide throughout most of this race course, except here on the home stretch, it widens out to some 40 feet. But it is an exciting day. All the emergency services personnel are standing at attention along the pit lane, along with the drivers and their crews. Even our own Steve Post has worked his way trackside to observe the pre-race ceremonies. It's an exciting day in Connecticut. Let's head trackside.
Please rise as you are able and remove your hats as the Connecticut State Police honor carry events our nation's colors. And now please remain standing as Reverend Hyde provides today's invocation.
Let us pray. Gracious God, racing in beautiful Lime Rock reminds me of the psalm, I lift up my eyes to the hills. But our eyes are focused right now on the track, not so much the hills. The psalm continues, "The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life." God, bless the drivers today with focus and courage, and the crews with calmness under pressure. Bless the guards and safety teams with sharp eyes and steady nerves. Watch over all here who make this weekend possible, and God bless us, the fans. Amen.
To perform our national anthem, please welcome from the Connecticut State Police, Donna Sabarin.
Oh, see, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the rampart we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Lime Rock, let's hear it for...
And with that, 34 drivers climb aboard their trucks on the pit lane. The command is coming up from Lime Rock Park.
NASCAR Live Race Day has been brought to you by Toyota. For the latest Toyota Gazoo racing information, visit tgrna.com.
DIYers, ever start a project thinking this'll be quick, only for it to be anything but? We've all been there, and that's why you need Craftsman, DIYers' most trusted brand. Craftsman's V20 battery works across drills, saws, trimmers, mowers, and over 100 other products from the house to the backyard and beyond. No dead stops, no refuels, just grab, swap, and get it done. Because your project might fight back, but your tools shouldn't. Head to Craftsman.com to learn more. Craftsman, build on.
We are under the green flag.
Listen up, NASCAR fans. Now's the time to turn your love of racing into big-time prizes. Because NASCAR Fantasy Live is your fast lane to bragging rights.
Furious racing here.
Pick 5 drivers each week of the season. Then complete additional challenges to stack points. All for your shot at the grand prize.
So let's get this party started.
For official rules and to learn more, visit NASCAR.com/fantasy and sign up today.
From Lime Rock Park, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
At Eero, we believe it's time to get more Wi-Fi from your Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi that delivers on the promise of Wi-Fi 7 with lightning-fast speeds and minimal latency. Wi-Fi that lets us do all the things all at once and keeps us safe at the same time. It's time for Wi-Fi that's so reliable and easy, you don't even have to think about it. It's not too good to be true. It's just Eero. Learn more at Eero.com. That's EERO.com. Eero, the way Wi-Fi should be.
Hello?
Hey, it's your man Tank. Watching you hold back tears swallowing that celery stick. It's a hard sight to see, Tim.
I'm almost done. Just let me get this down.
Stop it, man. Seriously. We don't have to do this to us.
You're right. I hate veggies so much. How can I be more like you?
Hey, buddy, I am you. Just full of meat. Jack Link's Beef Jerky, official meat snack of NASCAR. Feed your wild side.
Does it across the line?
MRN Classic Races.
Live on the NASCAR Racing Network. It's the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Let's get a big thumbs up. Get ready to rock and roll and pass the race cars today, pal. Go, boys. Let's execute. Have a good day.
Today, the Liuna 150 from Lime Rock Park. Brought to you by Craftsman. Get more runtime and better performance with the battery-powered Craftsman V20 brushless RP lineup. Learn more at craftsman.com. By Goodyear. Quality from the track to the street. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. By Straight Talk Wireless. Real unlimited data for fans of fast. Official partner of NASCAR. By Toyota. For the latest Toyota Gazoo racing information, visit tgrna.com. And by Sunoco. From NASCAR to your car, Sunoco fuels peak performance.
It is race number 15 of the 2025 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series season, the Liuna 150 from Lime Rock Park in Lakeville, Connecticut. Drivers climbing aboard their trucks now on the pit lane, just a couple of moments away from the command to fire this one up. It's been a busy stretch here for the Truck Series, and now a complete unknown here, just 4 races left before the playoffs.
It will throw a curveball, no doubt, at a lot of folks in the lineup today, whether they are regulars in this series but have never raced here at Lime Rock Park, or vice versa, if they've got experience at Lime Rock Park, but they've never run here in a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series machine. Who will get it figured out? Well, we've had a mix at the front of the field in qualifying. We've seen drivers from both ends of that spectrum that have done well leading up to the start of the race.
A 4-time winner and a driver that has been pretty much the guy to beat all season, and Corey Heim will bring us to the green flag. Jordan Taylor will make his series debut. Obviously, Jordan, a road racing veteran, one of the best in the country in all sorts of different types of sports cars, that is, and will run well, no doubt, here today, qualifying in the second spot. I want to mention you have Brent Cruz in 5th, and Caden Honeycutt. He has come on strong recently. A great effort a week ago and continues to qualify well. Will start among the top 10 here this afternoon.
Yeah, I don't know how many people had looked at the name Caden Honeycutt and thought, well, when we go out and qualify on the road course, he's likely to be in the top 10, much less the top 5. But shame on us if we did, because he went out and had a very solid run. And you're right, Kyle, running very well here of late. We touched on the history of this track earlier. As we look out across the front stretch from our broadcast location, the front straightaway named the Sam Posey Straight in honor of the gentleman who grew up just down the road from this facility, a very accomplished, of course, in the world of sports car racing and a longtime commentator for motorsports. And the Paul Newman straightaway on the backside of the course, the legendary actor ran and won races here.
Some of the other names that have run well here and won here include Mario Andretti, Sterling Moss, Dan Gurney, and some guy named Roger Penske won back here in 1959 at Lime Rock Park. There's a lot of history here. Set to make more today. Let's go trackside.
Race fans, it's time for the most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command for the inaugural Liuna 150 at Lime Rock Park, please welcome from Liuna, General Secretary and Treasurer Michael F. Sabatoni.
Thank you. Welcome to beautiful Lime Rock Park. On behalf of the 530,000 proud, strong, united men and women of the Laborers International Union of North America, our General President Brent Booker, Vice President Regional Manager Dan Bianco, and our General Executive Board, thank you for having us here today to sponsor this beautiful event. It is with honor and pleasure that I say God bless our troops, God bless the United States of America. And with that, I would like to say, drivers, are you ready? Start your engines!
Michael Sabatoni giving the command, standing at the start-finish line, gesturing toward the drivers on pit road as the engines come to life and we get set to go racing.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now, there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC. Used with permission.
The thrills of NASCAR racing from over 55 years of Motor Racing Network broadcasts.
Bobby Allison brings the race car right down in the middle of the track, crosses the start-finish line, and he will win the 24th annual Daytona 500.
Bill Elliott wins the Hooters 500. Alan Kulwicki, 1992 champion.
MRN Classic Races.
And the whole pack steaming for the finish line. Dale Earnhardt wins a Winston 500.
Find all the classic moments on MRN Classic Races on any podcast platform.
Starting lineup is next from Lime Rock Park. This is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Every time the siren sounds or lights flash, someone's life is on the line. At Whelen Engineering, we know first responders carry that weight every day. That's why for over 70 years, we've led the emergency warning industry, designing and manufacturing the lights, sirens, and safety systems they trust right here in America. Because when the mission is critical, there's no room for second best. Whelen Engineering, trusted to protect first responders.
You've been through one diet after another, and the weight still came back. You may think it's about willpower, but really it's about science. With Voi's weight loss program, we combine medication with expert support, all tailored to your goals. From Voi clinicians checking in on you, to a personal coach keeping you motivated. Join 100,000 people seeing results with medication at joinvoi.com/go. Treatments will only be prescribed if deemed appropriate.
Now, here's the starting lineup.
34 drivers getting ready to take the green flag in the Liuna 150 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Here's how they line up on the grid. Starting 34th, that'll be Jack Wood. 33rd starter in his career debut in this series, Wesley Slimp, driving a truck for Halmar Friesen Racing. 32nd starter, that's Spencer Boyd. And starting 31st, the Massachusetts driver with a lot of experience on this track, Dale Quarterly.
30th starter will be Frankie Muniz. 29th, William Lambrose. Tony Breidinger will start from the 28th position. Timmy Hill will start 26th. 26th will be Alex LeBay, then Dawson Sutton, 25th. 24th starter, Tanner Gray. 23rd, a multi-time Truck Series champion, Matt Crafton. Stuart Friesen, one of the more recent winners on the tour, will start 22nd, and Matt Mills will start 21st.
16-year-old Ben Mayer, series debut, starts from 20th. Former series champion Ben Rhodes rolls off from 19th. Josh Balicki of Wisconsin, the 18th starter. We heard earlier from Jake Garcia. He will start from 17th. Cam Waters is the 16th starter. Tyler Ankrum rolls off 15th. Grant Enfinger out of Alabama starts 14th. Thomas Annunziata rolls off from the 13th spot. Gio Ruggiero will start from 12th. The 11th starter is Daniel Hemrick.
And now the top 10 starters. Starting in 10th, Andres Perez de Lara. 9th will be Chandler Smith. Connor Mosack will start from the 8th position. Rajah Caruth will start 7th. Caden Honeycutt in 6th. 5th will be Brent Cruz. 4th, defending champion Ty Majeski. Lane Riggs will go from 3rd. And on the front row, making his series debut, Jordan Taylor. While on the pole, the winningest driver of the season, setting a fast time of 53.115 seconds this morning in qualifying. That averages out to 100.175 miles per hour. Corey Heim, our pole sitter.
That is Kyle Rickey. My name is Kurt Becker. We've heard from Steve Post and Jason Toy during our pre-race coverage. Time now to bring in the voices of the individuals who will call the action in the corners for Motor Racing Network here today, or the NASCAR Racing Network, I should say, positioned around this mile-and-a-half layout. We start on the east side of the course. There to cover the action from turns 1 up to turn 4 from Marlboro, New Jersey, Tim Catalfamo.
Thank you very much, Kurt Becker. Good afternoon, everyone. Here in turns 1, 2, 3, and 4 at beautiful Lime Rock Park. When they get into turn number 1, that is a hard right-hand bend. In fact, it actually goes into what the track calls the Big Bend. That's turns 1 and turns 2. When they come out of turn number 2, they race their way down a short straightaway to turn number 3. That is a left-hander, and the only left-hander on this race course. When they clear turn number 3, then they will race up to turn number 4, which kind of bends to the right ever so slightly before they start their race to the Paul Newman Straight. There is a beautiful facility here at this racetrack. There are trees on either side of the raceway. There are fans that are jam-packed, a ton of them using lawn chairs to take in all the action, and I'll cover it here at the exit exit of turn number 4 for the Motor Racing Network this afternoon. When they leave my spot, they'll race into the view of Carmel, Indiana's Chris Wilner.
Thank you, Tim. Good afternoon, everyone. From the hill to driver's left, overlooking the exciting right-hander, turn number 5, called the uphill. That's where the field will be charging down the Paul Newman Straight here in the valley, where they'll choose will also take place, and then they will hit the braking zone. Some will just dip down into third gear. Others will shift to second gear for more torque, but they'll float their trucks through the center of the right-hander corner using all the rubber and the rumble strips to driver's right, trying to get their truck pointed straight. That is important because that is why the turn is called the uphill. The exit of this corner directly up straight, and at the crest, a blind rise where the trucks often lift 2, 3, and even 4 tires off the ground. Most will burp the throttle and not have to go full hat out, otherwise they will get airborne and lose traction on the landing. That is where they'll race down the back straightaway, and they'll peer into the view of Shinglehau, Pennsylvania's Nathan Prouty.
Thank you very much, Chris, and hello, everyone. And yes, Chris, it's going to be very interesting when the trucks get to the top of the hill. And when they ascend to the top of the hill, they will hit the very narrow back straight that is surrounded by a thin strip of grass and the powdered white steel Armco barriers to both drivers' right and left. The drivers will quickly set up for turn number 6, known as the West Bend, which is a very flat, wide-sweeping right-hand corner. It is also a very technical corner, as the initial runoff to driver's left is the outer bend of the racetrack. That is not a part of the track today. Well, at least the drivers hope that it's not a part of the track today, as if they find that asphalt, they will be losing multiple spots. The runoff quickly transitions into grass, which is we expect the drivers to dip their left side tires off on corner exit ever so slightly. They do have to be careful, as there is a tire barrier to driver's left off corner exit. When they do exit to the West Bend, they will go under a crossover bridge downhill to turn number 7 and race back into the view of the men in the booth today of Kyle Rickey and Kurt Becker.
All right, thank you very much, Nathan. If there were a short track in road course racing, it was right here at Lime Rock Park, just a mile and a half around. The field on 1 to go right now. We'll go green next time by, so let's take a final sweep down the pit lane, check in on any other stories that we may have to keep an eye on over the course of the next 100 laps, and we'll start with Steve Post.
We talked about aspiring young racers. We talked about road course ringers and the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series regulars. What about a guy like Josh Bilicki? He is a journeyman racer, has 220 combined starts in NASCAR top 3 divisions, 5 top 10s, and 3 of those are on road courses because he's really good on road courses. Cut his teeth in Wisconsin, racing around the karting series and at Road America. It's his 12th Truck Series start. Good opportunity because he's driving for the potent Nice Motorsports team. In fact, he told me maybe one of the best opportunities he's had in here in NASCAR. Josh Bilicki starts today's race, 17. Jason Toy.
One of the great things when we come road racing, and especially here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, is getting different drivers from different forms of racing that we have throughout the country and internationally. One of those guys, it's good to have him back in a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. He's got over 150 starts, NASCAR Xfinity Series. He was a series regular there for a while and then comes sporadic. And we're talking about Alex LeBay, driving today for Rayum Brothers Racing. Alex has been running some stuff back up north of the border in Canada. He's a Pinty's champion and looking to get more opportunities, especially here in the Craftsman Truck Series. And the 3 races this year on road courses, looking to take advantage of an opportunity to try to run all 3 of them. He has got a career best 4th on the road racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. He's looking to bring home a top 10 here today for the Rayum Brothers for Alex LeBay.
It is a lineup of drivers with a diverse background in terms of the various series in which these individuals have competed. And we talked about earlier a lot of series regulars, and among the series regulars, several drivers still hoping to nail down a position for the playoffs. Here they come off turn number 7 to call the start of the Liuna 150 from Killingly, Connecticut, Kyle Rickey.
Green flag is out from the starter stand, and Corey Heim wasting little time getting to the front of the field. By the time they get to turn 1, he's already been able to pull away by a couple truck lengths.
It's Corey Heim that'll lead the field out of turn number 2, racing to turn number 3. Corey Heim in his Toyota Tundra leads Lane Riggs by about 2 truck lengths. Riggs runs second. Jordan Taylor is third. Brent Cruz settles into the 4th spot. They're side by side further back. Ty Majeski, Rajah Caruth, and Caden Honeycutt racing up the Paul Newman Straight.
Into the braking zone to the uphill. Corey Heim has about a 5 truck length lead over Lane Riggs. Jordan Taylor, Brent Cruz side by side as Rajah Caruth gives up the spot to Caden Honeycutt.
Corey Heim already making his way through the West Bend for the first time, continuing to gap Lane Riggs. Jordan Taylor, Brent Cruz, that's how they run, going down to turn 7 for the first time.
Corey Corey Heim starting from the pole and racing out to a 5-truck-length lead at the end of the opening lap here at Lime Rock. His red and white Toyota flashes across the stripe, and he works his way off the end of the front straightaway.
Corey Heim continues to increase his lead. The last time around, he led by 2 truck lengths. Now I would call it about 5. That separates him as the race leader from the second-place truck of Lane Riggs. Battle for third is on, though, out of turn number 3, racing to turn 4. Jordan Taylor has got a mirror full of Brent Cruz. They hit the straightaway.
Brent Cruz going to take his orange and white JBL Toyota to about 2 car lengths back as they enter the right-hander to the uphill. A little bit airborne goes Jordan Taylor, the rear end slapping around as they continue to drive down the backstretch.
Jordan Taylor, he gained a car length, make it 2 now over Brent Cruz, make it 3 as he's got great drive off on the west bend. Farther back, Andres Perez de Laura and Zane Smith are going at it for that position heading to turn 7.
Had a look to the inside of Smith at the top of the hill, but had to settle back into line here on the front straightaway. There was concern about what we might see here on the opening laps at Lime Rock. Everybody so far has kept it on the surface. We stay under the green flag. Early on in this opening stage, we'll run 35 laps. Let's pick up the leaders on the course.
Here they come into turn number 3. Again, it is Corey Heim and his red and white Toyota Tundra leading Lane Riggs. Behind them, they continue to race from third on back. Jordan Taylor, Brent Cruz, Ty Majeski, and Caden Honeycutt.
Single file, they go down the Paul Newman straight. Some dust already being picked up as they enter turn number 5. Everyone single file. The rumble strips, though, starting to get some of these drivers squirrely as they enter the uphill.
As they work their way through the west bend, it is Corey Heim who is just tiptoeing away with the race lead. That battle between Jordan Taylor and Brent Cruz, that has settled out for now as they head for turn 7.
Lap number 3 about to go on the board. Lap 35 will mark the conclusion of stage number 1. Taking a look at the ongoing battle for the 5th position, Ty Majeski is under pressure there. Caden Honeycutt tries to find a way to get to the inside, trying to find some real estate to driver's right.
Majeski has been doing his best to try to keep Caden Honeycutt behind him, but Honeycutt continues to pressure Majeski for that 5th spot. They race their way to turn number 3, the only left-hander on the course. It's Majeski a half a truck length in front of Caden Honeycutt. Behind Caden Honeycutt is Raja Caruth.
Here comes Caden Honeycutt, who continues to try to fend off Raja Caruth into the braking zone at turn number 5. Raja able to float that Chevrolet a little bit quicker, will start to reel in down the uphill.
And right in front of those two is Ty Majeski, who has got a mirror full now of Caden Honeycutt as they work through the left bend, or the west bend that is, heading back down to turn 7. Downhill slope all the way.
Here they come back off of turn number 7, and I'm back onto the front straightaway. That battle just into the top 5, about 3.5 seconds behind the race leader, Corey Heim, who brings the field into turn 1. Let's pick up Brent Cruz, Ty Majeski, and Caden Honeycutt.
All those drivers work their way out of turn number 2. Brent Cruz is racing Jordan Taylor single file for the 3rd spot into turn number 3. Behind those 2 drivers, that's where you find that ongoing battle for 5th between Ty Majeski, Caden Honeycutt, and Raja Caruth. They follow each other bumper to bumper to the Paul Newman straight.
Here they come to the Paul Newman straight, now into turn 5. Jordan Taylor in that 3rd spot, starting to really feel the pressure from Brent Cruz as they dive up the uphill down the backstretch.
And right behind that battle again between Brent Cruz and Jordan Taylor, Caden Honeycutt has not let Ty Majeski out of his clutches. They continue to run just 1 truck length apart as they head for turn 7.
Jordan Taylor in a Chevrolet and Brent Cruz in a Toyota. That's the battle for the 3rd position. Jordan Taylor has the spot. Very experienced road course racer. Now, Brent Cruz, he has his share of experience on a road course, Tim, but he's just 17 years old, and he's hanging right with the veteran.
And he's doing a very nice job so far this afternoon, Kurt. Brent Cruz has stuck his nose to the inside of Jordan Taylor's Chevrolet Silverado a few times. Taylor has been able to cut him off and keep Brent Cruz behind him. Again, they race for 3rd, a half a truck length apart, headed to Chris Wellner.
Yeah, here they come, nose to tail down the back, or the Paul Newman straightaway, I should say, into that right-hander turn number 5. As they go uphill, Jordan Taylor able to get the power down a little bit quicker than Brent Cruz that time.
Just 1 truck length of separation as they make their way into turn number 6, the west bend. Jordan Taylor so strong off corner exit, Behind him, Ty Majeski sideways heading for turn 7.
A couple of drivers making their series debut in the top 5 right now. Racing for position, Jordan Taylor doing a nice job fending off Brent Cruz. Behind them, the race is side by side for 5th between Ty Majeski and Caden Honeycutt, as that battle is nose to nose, under braking in turn number 1 and just in front of Rajah Caruth.
Caden Honeycutt finally able to slide in front of Ty Majeski, so Honeycutt will take that spot away. Now here is Rajah Caruth to driver's right of Ty Majeski, working their way into turn number 3. They're still side by side in turn 4. Majeski and Caruth dueling for that spot.
Ty Majeski gets a little shot in the shorts from Rajah. Rajah peaks driver's left, now back in the tire tracks of Ty Majeski as they go single file. You cannot go side by side up the uphill in turn 5.
The defending champ of Ty Majeski, one of those truckers that needs to have a good run here today. Mirrorful still of Rajah Caruth as they work downhill.
Ty Majeski spoke in our pre-race coverage about the fact that he feels like he's pretty comfortable on road courses. He does have the record to back it up, but losing the 5th position to Caden Honeycutt here in the early going.
Whether it's handling NASCAR's toughest tracks or on your personal car, Goodyear has a tire for you. Visit Goodyear.com to learn more about the complete tire lineup, including the high-performance Eagle F1 Asymmetric 6, the rugged all-terrain Wrangler Boulder MT, and the all-weather Assurance Weather Ready 2 passenger tire. Goodyear has been building the world's finest tires for more than 125 years and continues to lead in technology and innovation. Goodyear, still, always, forever.
Looking for motorsports coverage you can't find anywhere else? Look no further than the Motor Racing Network's lineup of weekly podcasts. NASCAR news and interviews on NASCAR Live and NASCAR Live Wide Open. NASCAR Cup Series Insight on Crew Call. NASCAR Grassroots Racing News and Talk on NASCAR Coast to Coast. And Sprint Car Talk on Wing Nation. All these and more available on podcast platforms and MRN.com.
Corey Heim, the race leader. He has led all 8 laps thus far, with Lane Riggs in 2nd, Jordan Taylor 3rd, Brent Cruz is 4th. Caden Honeycutt completes the top 5. From Lime Rock Park, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
At Eero, we believe it's time to get more Wi-Fi from your Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi that delivers on the promise of Wi-Fi 7 with lightning-fast speeds and minimal latency. Wi-Fi that lets us do all the things all at once and keeps us safe at the same time. It's time for Wi-Fi that's so reliable and easy, you don't even have to think about it. It's not too good to be true. It's just Eero. Learn more at Eero.com. That's EERO.com. Eero, the way Wi-Fi should be.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-212-2828. 800-212-2828. That's 800-212-2828.
Welcome back to Lime Rock Park and the early going opening stage of the LiUNA 150 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Corey Heim started from the pole. He has led all 10 laps thus far. His advantage continues to grow. It is now 3 full seconds over Lane Riggs back in the 2nd spot.
The dominant season continues for Corey Heim. Let's see if he can finish things out here this afternoon. Still a long way to go. 90 laps to run here at Lime Rock. Let's get a Goodyear tire update presented by Goodyear, building tires for more than 125 years. From the track to the street and in all conditions, Goodyear has a tire for you. Goodyear, still, always, forever. Let's go down to Steve Post.
Down here with Goodyear, they have 4 sets of the regular Goodyear Racing Eagles down here for this event. That means they're 1 on the truck, they use 1 for practice, and they've got 3 sets laying here. So what the game plan is, stage 1, stage 2, or you'll at the end of those stages put on tires. These are controlled pit stops, so it's not a racing pit stop. They also have here, hopefully we don't need them, 3 sets of the Goodyear Wet Weather Eagles. Those are the tires with treads on them. There is some rain in the area, although looking up now at the sky, things are blue sky up here. So Goodyear Racing Eagles aplenty down here as we roll through this race this afternoon.
Thank you, Steve. Right now, the field has just gone back across the stripe. Everyone chasing Corey Heim. Checking further down the leaderboard, Tanner Gray is a driver who needs a win, and he's got to have a win if he wants to get into the playoffs. He is so far below the cut line. Points are not going to get the job done. And Tim Catalfamo, unfortunately, Tanner got off the course a moment ago in front of you.
Yeah, he came off of turn number 2, which is a very wide and swinging right-hander, and he pushed the truck just a little bit too far, went off into the sand or gravel area that's to the driver's left of the exit of turn number 2. Now, he was able to keep the truck under power. He got back on the racing surface, but he lost a bunch of positions as a result.
Fell deep in the field for Tanner Gray, currently in position number 30, currently 14th in the playoff standings, 83 out of the top 10. So you're right, Kurt. He's going to have to win one of these next 4 races, and already off to a tough start here in the early laps at Lime Rock.
Had that runner-up finish last week at Pocono on the 2.5-mile triangular-shaped racetrack. Folks were congratulating him on tying his career best. He shook his head. He said that's all well and good, but he said, in a way, I feel like I let an opportunity slip away, because obviously a win at Pocono would have taken all this talk about will he or won't he make the playoffs off the table. But as it is, he is still hoping for a win in one of these remaining 4 races.
Let's talk about Corey Heim for a moment as he continues the lead, as has been the case for much of the afternoon. 3.5 seconds the advantage over Lane Riggs as they come around to complete lap number 12. Has led laps in every race this year, and in just 78 starts has cracked the top 10 for all-time leaders in this division as far as laps led.
That is remarkable in just a very short period of time. You think about the drivers who lead that list for most laps led in the history of this series. Ron Hornaday and Kyle Busch and Jack Sprague, and the list goes on and on. 3-time champion Matt Crafton on that list. So if you're Corey Heim and you've already managed to break your way into that top 10 in just a few years' time, it should bode well for his future in the game.
It is only taking him 78 starts to crack the top 10. 2,253 laps at the front of the field, and he's adding 12 more to that number already today as he comes off of turn 7 to complete lap number 13. Underway here at Lime Rock Park, and it has been all Corey Heim over Lane Riggs, now a near 4-second advantage.
One of the discussions in the garage area here this weekend has been the width of this racetrack. We talked about it earlier. The racetrack at most points is about 30 feet wide. It does widen out to 40 feet here along the front straightaway, the Sam Posey Straight. Chris Wilner, you're positioned over there near the uphill portion of the course that's over on the southwest corner of the layout. From what you've seen so far in the first 14 laps, width of the track, wide enough to make a pass work, or is it narrow?
Turn number 3. One truck goes off. It is Spencer Boyd. He had just gotten passed by the race leader. He is in the grassy section at the exit of turn 3. He's continuing to sit there. The truck is not moving. Everyone else is continuing on under the green flag for now.
Was just on pit lane a couple laps ago for an unscheduled pit stop for Spencer Boyd as that truck remains idle on the speedway. We'll see if he can get it fired back up, and we can keep this race under the green flag. But right now a solo incident on the back side of the course, and Spencer Boyd, it looks like, has fired that truck up and will continue on and will fall off the lead lap at the tail end of the field, currently in 34th. At the front, it's Corey Heim over Lane Riggs, Jordan Taylor, Brent Cruz, Caden Honeycutt, the top 5. 6 through 10 belong to Rajah Caruth, Ty Majeski, Connor Mosack, Chandler Smith, and Thomas Annunziata.
11th position is Andres Perez de Lara, with Grant Enfinger 12th, Gio Ruggiero 13th, Daniel Hemrick is 14th, Tyler Ankrum 15th, Cam Waters is 16th, Josh Balicki 17th, Jake Garcia 18th, Ben Rhodes 19th, and Ben Mayer 20th.
Matt Crafton runs 21st, Stuart Friesen 22nd, Matt Mills 23rd, Alex LeBay 24th, and Dawson Sutton 25th, Dale Quarterly in the 26th position, then it's Jack Wood 27th, Timmy Hill 28th, Tanner Gray 29th, William Lambros in 30th, and taking you through the rest of the field, Frankie Muniz in 31st, Tony Breidinger 32nd, Wesley Slimp still on the lead lap in 33rd. The only truck off the lead lap involved in that spin a few laps ago, and Spencer Boyd.
That's how they are running, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless, official partner of NASCAR. Fans of fast, get ready for real unlimited data on reliable 5G with no contracts or hidden fees. Now at Walmart and StraightTalkWireless.com. Straight Talk Wireless.
The thrills of NASCAR racing from over 55 years of Motor Racing Network broadcasts.
Bobby Allison brings the race car right down in the middle of the track, crosses the start-finish line, and he will win the 24th annual Daytona 500.
Bill Elliott wins the Hooters 500. Alan Kulwicki, 1992 champion.
MRN Classic Races.
And in the whole pack, steaming for the finish line, Dale Earnhardt wins a Winston 500.
Find all the classic moments on MRN Classic Races on any podcast platform.
More than 200 members of Congress are standing up for AM radio listeners. The AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act will keep AM radio in cars, because when cell and internet services are down, this free service could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 39179. Tell Congress to pass this critical legislation now.
The message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Top 5 run as follows. Corey Heim is the leader with Lane Riggs second, Jordan Taylor third, Brent Cruz is in fourth, and Caden Honeycutt in the 5th position. 12 seconds separating those top 5 as we have just 17 laps to go here in the opening stage of the Liuna 150. From Lime Rock Park, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
You've never been one to idly watch someone else do something for you. There's pride in self-reliance, in working with your hands, in harnessing the power of an E3 spark plug with Diamond Fire technology, yielding better engine performance. You have a choice to make. Take control of your ride, of your life, or be the passenger princess of it. Visit e3sparkplugs.com to put the power in your hands.
Hello?
Hey, it's your man tank again. I just talked to the taste buds. We're all worried about you, Tim.
What do you mean? I love eating veggies. The crunch, I've never felt better.
You sure?
I think so.
You're really sure?
Yeah, man. Seriously.
You're not doing this to me, Tim. You're doing this to us. Just rip open some jerky, all right? Jack Link's Beef Jerky, official meat snack of NASCAR. Feed your wild side.
Welcome back to Lime Rock Park, where it has been all Corey Heim since the drop of the green flag. He started from the pole, and he has led all 19 laps thus far. He's been good on the shorter run. He already had about a 5-truck length lead at the end of the opening lap. Obviously good on the longer run, as we've been clean and green since the start. And his advantage now over 4.5 seconds back to Lane Riggs.
Continues to grow a couple of tenths of a second with each passing lap as he crosses the start-finish line right now to complete lap number 19, closing in on the end of stage number 1, which will complete lap number 35. Lane Riggs in second, Jordan Taylor, then Brent Cruz and Caden Honeycutt. Rajah Caruth is next, followed by Connor Mosack, Chandler Smith, Ty Majeski, and Thomas Annunziata, all separated by some 20 seconds. Now on the front stretch right now, behind them, the best battle on the racetrack, Andres Perez de Lara in 11th. Grant Enfinger, Gio Ruggiero, they have them lined up behind them as they go to turn 1.
All those trucks race their way out of turn number 2. It is Andres Perez de Lara that is in front of about 4 trucks that are stacking up at the back door behind him. Grant Enfinger is the first one on the back tailgate of Andres Perez. Gio Ruggiero, Daniel Hemrick, and Cam Waters. They are all continuing to chase Perez out of turn 4.
Andres Perez has had his hands full the last several laps as they enter that uphill turn number 5. Grant Enfinger driving in a lot deeper this time as he closes in on the back tailgate.
And as they work up over the hill, Perez de Lara sideways. You can definitely feel or see the truck get light at the crest. Enfinger dogging the back bumper as they work downhill and work into turn 7.
This is the ongoing battle for the 11th position. Big line of traffic now just coming off the 7th corner and back across start finish. It is Andres Perez de Lara. He's in the 11th spot. He still has Grant Enfinger breathing down his neck as they head back into turn 1.
And Grant Enfinger has been very patient thus far. He has not gotten up and tried to shove Andres Perez de Lara out of the way, but I think he, along with Gio Ruggiero and some of the other trucks behind Andres Perez, are beginning to lose patience. Here they come into turn number 3. Into turn 4, it's Perez, Enfinger, Ruggiero, and Hemrick in a line.
And down the Paul Newman straight, this is an opportunity to maybe force a driver to a mistake if you're starting to get anxious. And Grant Enfinger trying to fake right, go left, and then tuck back in as they go uphill. But Andres Perez has got his hands full.
And Andres Perez de Lara, he is indeed holding this line up. Everybody getting checked up behind him. The next truck in front of this battle, well up the racetrack as Perez de Lara dips the left sides off into the dirt off of turn 6.
Some 26 seconds behind Corey Heim as they enter the front straightaway. Heim is already through turns 1 and 2. Let's pick up this battle again as Grant Enfinger goes to driver's right to the inside of last year's ARCA Menards champion Andres Perez de Lara for 11th.
Enfinger looking to the inside in turn number 2. He's got a fender alongside of Andres Perez de Lara. Racing side by side for the 11th spot in the turn 3. Perez has the advantage on the inside lane. He'll hold on to the spot for now. Now Enfinger slides into the clutches of Gio Ruggiero.
Gio Ruggiero thought about making the move on Grant Enfinger, tucks behind his back tailgate, and Andres Perez de Lara will now have a comfortable truck and a half length lead over Grant Enfinger. Gio Ruggiero back there, as well as Daniel Hemrick on the charge.
Not over yet as Enfinger is on the comeback trail. He has already pulled back into within one truck length of Andres Perez de Lara.
Back down to the start-finish line. That battle comes off of turn 7. Again, nearly 30 seconds behind Corey Heim, who has now built a lead of 5.5 seconds over Lane Riggs with 12 laps to go in stage 1.
Hey, I hear you think podcasts are all about true crime, huh? Well, wise guy, the iHeartRadio app's got all kinds of podcasts. We got stuff you should know and stuff they don't want you to know. We got Bobby Bones, Big Boy, and Lou Later. We got SpongeBob Binge Pants and Exotic Erotic Story Time. We got Doughboys, Two Dudes in a Kitchen, Green Eggs and Dan. Hey, we got Elf Quest. We got podcasts for everything on the iHeartRadio app for free. If you don't download that, well, that's not just a true crime, my friend. That's criminal.
From legendary races to heart-pounding finishes, NASCAR Channel is your 24/7 pit stop for all things NASCAR. Streaming classic moments, iconic rivalries, and behind-the-scenes stories from the world's greatest drivers. Dive into the NASCAR culture with shows about the cars, the teams, and the personalities that make it America's most exciting motorsport. Best of all, it's completely free. Stream anytime, anywhere. No fees, no strings, just NASCAR. Start streaming now on Tubi.
11 laps to go here in stage number 1 at Lime Rock Park for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. It continues to be Corey Heim by 5.5 seconds over Lane Riggs in second. Jordan Taylor is in third, Brent Cruz fourth, and Caden Honeycutt rounding out the front 5. From Lime Rock Park, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Mike Bagley. Join me along with the cast and crew of the Motor Racing Network every Tuesday night for NASCAR Live. Hear exclusive interviews.
It's my responsibility as a driver to leave the sport in a better place than it was when I got here. And certainly sometimes it comes with controversial takes.
The best moments from each of NASCAR's premier series.
They bang sideways at the line. Photo finish.
An in-depth breakdown to the latest NASCAR news and more. It's NASCAR Live every Tuesday night at 7 Eastern.
Down to the final 9 here in stage number 1 in the Liuna 150 at Lime Rock Park in the opening stage here for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. NASCAR Racing Network with you here on a Saturday afternoon in Connecticut. Corey Heim has led all the laps thus far. Margin kind of stabilized, about 4.9 seconds back to Lane Riggs. Jordan Taylor, they're really strung out among the top 10. But, Kurt, there's been a lot of dicing it up just out of the top 10.
There has. In fact, Tyler Ankrum, last time across start finish a moment ago, he stacked them 3 wide. He went all the way down to driver's right. He was trying to find a way to pick up a couple of positions, trying to work his way around Andres Perez de Lara. A lot of drivers have been shuffling for that position. In fact, let's check in out at the uphill portion of the course with Chris Wilner. Chris, earlier we started a conversation about the width of the track. How easy or how difficult is it to pass on this racetrack at Lime Rock? So far, 27 laps in. What's your assessment?
It's been very difficult, Kurt, and the reason why in this section here of the racetrack, you have the Paul Newman straight that seems to widen out. There's the slight kink to the left of driver's left once you get through this portion of the racetrack, and then it gets back to that 30-foot wide entrance to turn number 5, and because you have the uphill, because you have drivers, some are shifting, some aren't, it is so hard to get caught outside the racing groove, and I can even see from my vantage point a lot of marbles to drivers left as they negotiate the right-handers. So there was a pass finally made in that battle for 11th as Andres Perez de Lara finally gave up that position to Grant Enfinger, but that opened the door again because Andres Perez was out of the groove to drivers like Gio Ruggiero and Daniel Hemrick that were able to sneak by as they entered the uphill. But very treacherous. If you're going to be brave, you're going to have to do it the long way around here, and it's just really tough with how narrow this racetrack is.
Just 7 laps to go here in this opening stage of the race. Kyle, from our vantage point here along the Sam Posey Straight near start-finish, what about watching these drivers, so many who have never raced this track before? Do you get a sense that it's taken several laps for them to get comfortable with a sense of timing on trying to make those passes?
Absolutely, and you mentioned none of them have raced here before in a truck, a couple in the sports cars, and you're right, adapting has been so key in the first stage of this race, and there are some drivers getting a bit more comfortable at a bit quicker rate, like Grant Enfinger in that battle for 11th a couple of laps ago that Chris was describing. He takes over the 11th spot. Gio Ruggiero 12th, Daniel Hemrick, Cam Waters, Tyler Ankrum, and Andres Perez de Lara leading that pack of traffic a few laps ago, now in the 16th position as laps continue to wind down. 6 to go here in stage 1. Pit stops will be about 8 or so laps from now, but Jason Toy, they will look a little bit different from what we're used to here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Yeah, and a lot of times we'll have full live pit stops when we have the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, but not here today at Lime Rock. What they're going to do is what's controlled pit stop. They're going to bring everybody in. Once everybody stops in their pit box, shut the engines off, NASCAR is going to let the crews go to work here. Give them about 5 minutes to be able to do the work they need to on these trucks. They can change all 4 tires. They can also fill it up, but they cannot put fuel in it, Sunoco fuel in it, while they're changing the tires, so they'll have to stagger that out a little bit to be able to make things happen and get the adjustments. Once they roll back off, as long as everybody rolls off in the time allotted, you'll be able to hold on to your track position and get lined back up to go back racing again. But Steve Post, one of the things I'm hearing a lot on the radio here on pit lane, a lot of these drivers are waiting for that first one because the tires are starting to slip and slide. They want to get those fresh Goodyear Racing Eagles on.
Jason, you're absolutely right. With the exception of Corey Heim, who's been rather quiet, Lane Riggs has been quiet. There has been a lot of conversation. Lane Riggs actually said that the left rear is not down on the racetrack. Brent Cruz has talked about no stability. Ty Majeski wants better forward drive. So Jason Toya's right, guys. When they come down pit road, I know they're going to put 4 Goodyear Racing Eagles on. Fuel is going to be needed as well, as they can't run 2 stages. So the controlled pit stops are coming up here at the end of stage number 1.
You heard Steve mention the fact that Corey Heim's not been saying a lot, neither has Lane Riggs. They do run 1 and 2 respectively, again with just under 5 laps to go here in the opening stage of the race. Corey Heim, his advantage 6.4 seconds back to Lane Riggs. although Lane Riggs last time by did turn the fastest lap on the racetrack.
Largest lead that we have seen between the top two. Corey Heim, 6.7, now 6.4, back to Lane Riggs. Jordan Taylor remains in third, unchallenged for that position. Brent Cruz and Caden Honeycutt, the top five. Connor Mosak in six, but a great battle for the seventh spot heading to turn number one between Rajah Caruth and Chandler Smith.
Rajah Caruth and Chandler Smith, single file, working their way through turn number one, now into turn number two. As a matter of fact, it is Chandler Smith and his F-150 that is all over the back bumper of Rajah Caruth for this spot out of turn number three. They race their way to the right-hander in turn four, headed towards the straightaway, battling for that spot.
That battle for seventh continues as they come directly at me into the right-hander, turn number five. Rajah Caruth takes that Hendercar Chevrolet up the hill. Chandler Smith gets the power down a little quicker as he starts to close in.
Chandler Smith fulfilling every inch of that rearview mirror that is hanging above Rajah Caruth as they work through the west bend. They'll go downhill. Caruth, he extends that lead to 2 truck lengths.
Those two drivers are both locked into the playoffs on the basis of wins this year. As things currently stand, with 3 laps to go on the stage, they would pick up a few stage points. But again, that really a moot issue for them as they already have secured spots in the playoff. A driver that needs every stage point he can get today is Ty Majeski. He rides back in the 9th position. So if he manages to stay there, he's about 21 plus seconds behind the leader, and he's a full second behind Chandler Smith in 8th. So Kyle, I guess every stage point counts if you're Majeski, but he'll get a couple out of the first stage if things stay the way they are right now.
Yeah, currently in the top 10 in the 9th spot, just 10 points to the good in the playoff standings coming into today. 2 top 5s, 7 top 10s, but no wins. Kind of uncharacteristic for the driver that picked up the championship a year ago here in this division.
Yeah, it is. It's been kind of a quiet season so far for Ty Majeski. Talked to some members of his team earlier today, and they said, look, at this point, we are at least above the cut line. They said, we know this much. If we get into the playoffs, once we're there, we're going to be tough.
As he was the last couple of years, including last year when he went on to win the championship with that win at the Phoenix Raceway in Arizona. Pit road is closed as we continue under the green flag. In fact, we have been caution-free here in the first 33 laps of this event, down to the final 2 here in stage number 1 at Lime Rock Park. Corey Heim leads down the hill. His advantage, 6.5 seconds back to Lane Riggs, and it looks like, Kurt, he's in a little bit of lap traffic here as we enter the final lap of this opening stage.
There is 1 lap to go here in stage 1. Corey Heim has already come down the full length of the Sam Posey Straight, and he's back to turn 1.
It's been a no-contest race so far for the rest of the field trying to chase Corey Heim. He has got the entire Truck Series field covered, at least in this first stage. Corey Heim into turn number 3. Just made a pass around the Jack Woods Chevrolet Silverado. Makes his way to turn 4, powers up, and heads down the Paul Newman Straight.
Corey Heim, the last several laps down the Paul Newman straightaway, has just been lifting at the 5. Everyone else is braking at the 1. That's how good the race truck is, just saving the tires as he escapes the uphill and heads down the backstretch.
And Corey Heim has been one of the few trucks that has been seemingly comfortable coming over the crest of that hill. Very stable as he makes his way through the west bend and downhill to turn 7 for the final time in stage 1.
He has led all the laps thus far here this afternoon at Lime Rock Park. Comes off of turn number 7 right now. We'll see the green and white checkered flag from starter Rich Keeter. Will pick up his 13th stage win of the season for Corey Heim, doing it in dominant fashion. Still waiting for Lane Riggs to cross the line, some 6.8 seconds back in the 2nd position. Jordan Taylor crossing in 3rd. Brent Cruz in 4th, and completing the top 5, Connor Mosak here at the end of stage 1 at Lime Rock.
This is a Camry. This is a Camry on NASCAR. This is a Camry on NASCAR with Ty Gibbs behind the wheel. Now you're up to speed. You in? Follow the action at tgrna.com. Toyota, let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, LLC.
From legendary races to heart-pounding finishes, NASCAR Channel is your 24/7 pit stop for all things NASCAR. Streaming classic moments, iconic rivalries, and behind-the-scenes stories from the world's greatest drivers. Dive into the NASCAR culture with shows about the cars, the teams, and the personalities that make it America's most exciting motorsport. Best of all, it's completely free. Stream anytime, anywhere. No fees, no strings, just NASCAR. Start streaming now on Tubi.
The 13th stage win for Corey Heim is the most of any driver in the history of stage racing through the first 15 races of a season. The second on that list is Kyle Busch with 10 stage wins back in 2017. Picks up an easy stage victory here this afternoon to begin the Liuna 150 here in Lakeville, Connecticut. From Lime Rock Park, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Every time the siren sounds or lights flash, someone's life is on the line. At Wheelan Engineering, we know first responders carry that weight every day. That's why for over 70 years, we've led the emergency warning industry, designing and manufacturing the lights, sirens, and safety systems they trust right here in America. Because when the mission is critical, there's no room for second best. Wheelan Engineering, trusted to protect first responders.
At Eero, we believe it's time to get more Wi-Fi from your Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi that delivers on the promise of Wi-Fi 7 with lightning-fast speeds and minimal latency. Wi-Fi that lets us do all the things all at once and keeps us safe at the same time. It's time for Wi-Fi that's so reliable and easy, you don't even have to think about it. It's not too good to be true. It's just Eero. Learn more at Eero.com. That's EERO.com. Eero, the way Wi-Fi should be.
By Coca-Cola, iRacing, and NASCAR.
Caution is out for the first time here this afternoon at Lime Rock Park to complete stage number 1. Corey Heim has led all the laps thus far.
Here's a look at who is getting it done on the track right now, presented by Craftsman. Mid-project regret syndrome, not on your watch. Power up your DIY game, literally, with the Craftsman V20 lineup. One battery system, 100-plus products, and a million reasons to build on. Learn more at craftsman.com. Kyle, who's getting it done?
It's hard not to look at the front of the field right now. Corey Heim started out front and has stayed out front in the first 35 laps of this event. Lane Riggs has looked good quietly there in the second spot, well behind the race leader. And how about Jordan Taylor, the road racing ace, making his NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series debut? Started on the front row and has stayed very much a part of the talk at the front of the field, finishing this opening stage in the third spot.
He and Brent Cruz had a battle that really raged on for the entirety of that opening stage for that third position. Taylor does finish the stage in third, and Cruz finishing up the stage in the fourth spot. So far, of the 34 drivers that took the green flag, 33 have remained on the racetrack. One driver has gone behind the wall, Alex LeBay. Jason, what's the story there?
Well, one of the things about it, somewhere on the race course, I believe over where Nathan's located, he blew out the back gearing on that Ford F-150. So they took him back behind the wall, trying to get it changed out here. Obviously, take him out of any contention for a good finish here, but made his way all the way over here to get a race in today. He's going to try to get as many laps as he can as they repair him back behind the wall.
LeBay in his Truck Series debut this afternoon at Lime Rock Park. Like so many of these other drivers in the field, a 6-time winner in the NASCAR Canada Series and a former champion back in 2017. Pit road is open. All the front runners, in fact the entire field, will make their way onto the pit lane. But nobody or no crew members can go over the wall until NASCAR gives the go-ahead. That means all of the trucks are stopped in their respective pit boxes.
Again, non-competitive pit stops, meaning that the drivers who come to pit road, the positions are frozen. They can neither gain nor lose positions. You can pick up positions in the running order if you choose to stay on the racetrack. But as Kyle just mentioned, virtually the entirety of this lineup, again, some 33 trucks still remain active on the racetrack, now working their way to 35 miles an hour coming off of turn number 7 all the way down the pit lane And we will cover those stops coming up in just a moment.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the NASCAR Racing Network. At Lime Rock Park on a beautiful Saturday afternoon to go racing for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. NASCAR Radio Network with you here from Lakeville, Connecticut for the very first time. Kyle, Ricky, and Kurt Becker with you high above the start-finish line, joined by Tim Catalfamo, Chris Wilner, and Nathan Prouty out in the corners. Steve Post and Jason Toy on the pit lane. And, Steve, it looks like the teams have been released.
The 3-minute break has started down here, and the crew's going over the wall, and these are not the normal crews. A lot of times these are the general mechanics that work on the cars here with these controlled pit stops. A couple of drivers in the top 10 that have total opposite problems. Connor Mosak, very good on the long run, really lacks lateral grip on the short run. The other side of that, Caden Honeycutt, first 20 laps was really good, said he really lost grip over the final steps of that run. Talked about Ty Majeski, no grip up off in the corners. They need to do an air pressure adjustment on that. Lane Riggs is in. Left rear, he just feels like it's out of the racetrack, and he just can't hustle the truck as much as he needs. And race leader Corey Heim, no adjustments. He said, Scott, to Zipadelli, his crew chief, Scott, the balance is good. It stayed good. We lost some tire grip because of the wear, but the balance was good. Don't change a thing. So that's the story on Corey Heim. Jason Toy, how about in front of you?
A lot of the same thing down here, and losing that forward grip that a lot of these drivers would like to have. Jordan Taylor, they've got the hood up here for him. They're going to make an adjustment to the shock on the left side of the race truck here. Brian Patty, the crew chief, leading things for him on this Chevrolet. So they're going to try to get it up off the ground a little bit more for him. Also making pit stops here on this section of pit road. All of the Spire Motorsports trucks, including Rajah Caruth. One crew member went into the passenger side of the truck. The issue that Rajah was having inside in the interior, his hose that feeds air to his helmet fell off early in that run, and the heat was starting to build up, so they got that reattached. Matt Crafton is in. They made the adjustments for him to try to get that truck going forward. Jake Garcia, Ben Rhodes, same thing. Also Cam Waters on this end of pit road. Grant Enfinger and Andres Perez de Lara all in here with 4 Racing Goodyear Eagles and Sunoco Fuel. As a matter of fact, as we say it now, Andres Perez crew, they go under the hood. They're going to the left side, or excuse me, the right side front of his race truck to make a shock adjustment. So a chassis wrench going in for Annunziata. And further on down the field with Dawson Sutton, Timmy Hill, Dale Quarterly here, all getting 4 tires for those Goodyear Racing Eagles. Sunoco Fuel to top things off here at the end of stage 1 at Lime Rock.
Mentioned Dale Quarterly currently in the 26th position at the end of the opening stage on the pit lane. A multiple-time winner here in the old NASCAR North Series. I believe it was the K&N East Series when they ran here many years ago. Dale, a motorcycle racer turned stock car racer now for a couple of decades.
Yeah, and you remember the NASCAR Busch North Series used to have its season finale right here at Lime Rock. And Dale Quarterly, he was always good, no matter where he's gone. But in that race in particular, he would wrap up the season in strong fashion, and he won a couple of those season finales here. Also, Kyle, real quickly, we talked about the fact that we have this different pit stop situation today, the non-competitive pit stops. And that's because there's NASCAR racing going on elsewhere this weekend. A lot's happening as a lot of folks are in Atlanta.
And a lot of the crew members that pit these trucks are at the Atlanta Motor Speedway on a lot of those race teams that competed last night in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, in the NASCAR Cup Series later tonight. So it's a cost-cutting measure for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series teams here today. That's why we're seeing these non-competitive pit stops, as a lot of the team members that they're used to working with aren't here.
Pit stops have wrapped up and down the pit lane as we conclude stage 1 and get ready to head back under the green flag.
So I just switched to Straight Talk Wireless.
Uh-oh, we just ran out of gas.
Great, gives us time to watch the race.
You know the next town is 50 miles away, right?
Don't worry, I have real unlimited data now.
But how are we going to get out of here?
We got about 200 laps before we need to figure that out.
Get a free 5G phone with select plans and real unlimited data only for a limited time at Straight Talk. Available at your local Walmart and straighttalk.com. Straight Talk is an official partner of NASCAR. Taxes and fees apply. Require single line activation on the qualifying plan for network management practices. Visit straighttalk.com. Copyright 2025 Verizon. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, LLC.
NASCAR's only street race returns to the streets of Chicago July 5th and 6th.
Lock in your ticket to summer thrills now. Visit NASCARChicago.com for more.
The dry spell is over for Alex Bowman. 90-degree right-hand turn remains. He makes it perfectly out onto the front straightaway. Checkered flag is in the air, and Alex Bowman has won in the streets of Chicago.
Stage 2 is on the way from Lime Rock Park. This is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-212-2828. 800-212-2828. That's 800-212-2828.
You've been through one diet after another, and the weight still came back. You may think it's about willpower, but really it's about science. With Voi's weight loss program, we combine medication with expert support, all tailored to your goals. From Voi clinicians checking in on you, to a personal coach keeping you motivated. Join 100,000 people seeing results with medication at joinvoi.com/go. Treatments will only be prescribed if deemed appropriate.
Welcome back to Lime Rock Park as we get ready to go back under the green flag shortly here in the Liuna 150. Corey Heim has led every lap thus far, and he won the opening stage of the race. Well, here's what lies ahead on the schedule, presented by Goodyear, building tires for more than 125 years from the track to the street and in all conditions. Goodyear has a tire for you. Goodyear, still always, forever.
3 races remain in the regular season for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. They next compete on Friday night, July 25th at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. Then they'll move on to the Watkins Glen Road Course on August 8th, also a Friday. And then they'll wrap up the regular season, set the 10-driver field in the playoffs August 15th at the Richmond Raceway. Then the playoffs will begin to wrap up the month of August on the 30th at the Darlington Raceway in South Carolina. All those events can be heard right here on the NASCAR Racing Network.
Great to be here to bring everyone live coverage of the Liuna 150 from Northwest Connecticut. We, earlier today, Kyle, you and I ran into a Motor Racing Network alumnus in Mike Joy, who grew up about an hour from the racetrack. Of course, now for many years part of the Fox Sports family of broadcasters. How about the man on the flag stand, the starter, Rich Keeter, grew up in New England. When he would go to the short tracks with his late father, he would dream of being a flagman. He would take a checkered flag and kind of mimic the actions of the starter, and he is the person atop the starter stand today.
And has been on the flag stand at all of the short tracks in the region, including here in Connecticut, the Thompson Speedway, the New London Waterford Speed Bowl, and, of course, the Stafford Speedway, sometimes a couple of nights a week there at Stafford. So good to see Rich climb the ladder like we have at our local short tracks and make it to the national scene. And he's about to wave the green flag to start Stage 2. In fact, there it is as we are already off of turn number 7. Green flag is out. That long run to turn number 1 led by Corey Heim and Lane Riggs.
Corey Heim and Lane Riggs leading the field into turn number 1 through the big bend here at Lime Rock Park. One truck off course through turn number 2. I believe that is the Brent Cruz Toyota. He is going to lose a bunch of track position as everybody meanwhile races their way to turn number 3. Into turn 4, it's Heim, the leader, Lane Riggs, Jordan Taylor, and Connor Mosack, the top 4.
These starts and restarts so critical for track position as Corey Heim trying to run away and hide from Lane Riggs, a 2-car length lead. Here comes Jordan Taylor fending off Connor Mosack, who beats to the outside uphill.
They get to the top of the hill. Connor Mosack, he is right there, a half a truck length between him and Jordan Taylor. But again, Jordan Taylor, as he's been all day, powering off turn number 6 into turn 7.
Brent Cruz, after getting off the course, finds his way back into line, but in the 11th 11th position, so he lost 7 spots in that exchange when he veered off the course. In the meantime, it is Corey Heim with a whole lot of traffic lined up behind him. Back to turn 1.
They are definitely stacking up at the back door for Corey Heim, who is the leader out of turn number 2 by about 2 truck lengths over the second-place driver of Lane Riggs. Then it's 3 more truck lengths back to pick up the third-place driver of Jordan Taylor. Taylor has got his mirrors full right now with Connor Mosack and Caden Honeycutt.
Connor Mosack at the end of stage 1 looked really racy as he climbed himself into the top 5. Now racing the road racing ace of Jordan Taylor. That battle for third continues to heat up as they get up and over the hill down the backstretch.
They ascend all the way to the top of the hill. The field single file making their way down the back straight and into the west bend. And Jordan Taylor adds a truck length to that advantage to that battle with him and Connor Mosack.
Jordan Taylor in third, Connor Mosack in fourth, Brent Cruz in fifth. At the front, beginning to stretch it out once again, is Corey Heim, has already built a half-second lead to Lane Riggs in second. Then that ongoing race from third on back, led by Jordan Taylor.
Jordan Taylor looking behind him. He sees the Connor Mosack Chevrolet Silverado right on his back bumper, racing to turn number 3. Behind Connor Mosack is the aforementioned Caden Honeycutt truck. Behind Honeycutt, that's where you find Chandler Smith, Ty Majeski, Raja Karuth, and Thomas Annunziata.
Leaders negotiate the Paul Newman straight, now breaking into that turn number 5. Some going down to second gear like Chandler Smith, who's starting to pull away from Ty Majeski there just inside the top 5.
Chandler Smith will take his Long John Silver's Ford F-150 to the bottom of the racetrack in turn number 6. He is disposed of Ty Majeski, sets his sights on Caden Honeycutt.
Lap number 42 goes on the board. That'll leave us 28 to go here in stage 2. A reminder, coming up later today, the ARCA Menard Series goes racing. Motor Racing Network will have live coverage of that event. But right now, it's the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series headed to turn 2.
Here is Corey Heim, the leader out of turn number 2, increasing his lead over Lane Riggs. It is now about 3 truck lengths separating the first and second place machines. We'll focus on the battle for third. That is really hot and heavy coming to turn 4. Connor Mosack breathing down the neck of Jordan Taylor.
Jordan Taylor's got his rearview mirrors full of that Chevrolet for Connor Mosack. Mosack drives in really deep this time, up and over the curbs, gets a little bit sideways driver's lip as they negotiate the uphill.
Mosack a little sideways at the top of the hill, too. He loses touch to the back bumper of Taylor. Now he's got to worry about Caden Honeycutt, who's directly behind him as they head for turn 7.
Caden Honeycutt and that Nice Motorsports team, they've been sneaky good here for much of this 2025 season, coming off a career day just a week ago at the Pocono Raceway, finishing in third. Up on the championship grid right now, currently 9th in the standings, and Tim currently in the top 5 in that race from 4th on back.
Caden Honeycutt doing a very nice job so far this afternoon here at Lime Rock Park. His black and white Chevrolet Silverado currently rides in the 5th spot. 1 spot behind Connor Mosack, who had a look to the inside on Jordan Taylor in turn 3. Taylor slammed the door, and they follow each other to the Paul Newman straight.
Taylor dispatches of Mosack for now, but that brought back in Caden Honeycutt, who you guys talked about looking really racy at Lime Rock. That Chevrolet now right up on the back bumper of Connor Mosack.
This is a good ongoing battle, as also lurking in the tire tracks behind Honeycutt is Chandler Smith. You can call it a 4-truck battle for the 3rd spot on the racetrack.
Caden Honeycutt entered today's race 45 points above the cut line for the playoffs. Connor Mosack, part of this same battle from 4th on back. Mosack needs a win to get into the playoffs. He is currently running in the top 4 back to turn 2.
And he is giving Jordan Taylor all he can handle right now, back in the 4th spot. Again, talking about Connor Mosack, who is continuing to race Jordan Taylor for the 3rd spot. Into turn number 3. Jordan Taylor's got it. He points his Chevrolet right against the curbing through these parts of the racetrack. Behind Connor Mosack, Caden Honeycutt is there.
Caden Honeycutt really trying to negotiate this area of the racetrack, figuring out a way around Connor Mosack, who continues his sights on Jordan Taylor as they go on the uphill. Airborne just for a minute from Connor Mosack.
Mosack went wide at the top of the hill as they work on the back straight. Here comes Honeycutt, takes a peek of the inside going into turn 6. Nothing there, follows back in his tire track.
Talked about Caden Honeycutt a couple laps ago, coming off a season best finish last week at Pocono. Connor Mosack, you can say the same about that young driver. A 6th place effort effort last week, so he has some positive momentum on his side right now as he runs in 4th, just in front of Caden Honeycutt in 5th.
Those 3 drivers of Jordan Taylor, Connor Mosak, and Caden Honeycutt remain in a line, again, all battling for the 3rd spot. Behind them, Chandler Smith has now joined this battle. He is starting to bear down on the machine of Caden Honeycutt off 4.
How long will these drivers be patient as they negotiate down into the braking zone at turn number 5? Mosak still about 4 truck lengths back of Jordan Taylor. Caden Honeycutt is there. Honeycutt, though, looks really strong once again in the uphill.
And one thing to note, too, the top 2 of Corey Heim and Lane Riggs, a little bit of deja vu from stage 1. They have absolutely checked out from this ongoing battle for 3rd.
It is better than 2 full seconds from Lane Riggs in 2nd back to Jordan Taylor in that 3rd spot. And talk about deja vu, also in that battle for the lead, just like we saw in the first stage, Corey Heim opening up on Lane Riggs. Now 1.7 seconds separate the top 2.
Whether it's handling NASCAR's toughest tracks or on your personal car, Goodyear has a tire for you. Visit Goodyear.com to learn more about the complete tire lineup, including the high-performance Eagle F1 Asymmetric 6, the rugged all-terrain Wrangler Boulder MT, and the all-weather Assurance Weather Ready 2 passenger tire. Goodyear has been building the world's finest tires for more than 125 years and continues to lead in technology and innovation. Goodyear, still, always, forever.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Stage number 2 concludes at lap number 70. Corey Heim, the race leader, just put lap 47 on the board. He leads by 2 full seconds now over Lane Riggs in 2nd, with Jordan Taylor 3rd. Connor Mosak is 4th. Caden Honeycutt completes the top 5. From Lime Rock Park, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the top trucks of NASCAR.
You've never been one to idly watch someone else do something for you. There's pride in self-reliance, in working with your hands, in harnessing the power of an E3 spark plug with Diamond Fire technology, yielding better engine performance. You have a choice to make. Take control of your ride, of your life, or be the passenger princess of it. Visit e3sparkplugs.com to put the power in your hands.
You've been through one diet after another, and the weight still came back. You may think it's about willpower, but really it's about science. With Voi's weight loss program, we combine medication with expert support, all tailored to your goals. From Voi clinicians checking in on you, to a personal coach keeping you motivated. Join 100,000 people seeing results with medication at joinvoi.com/go. Treatments will only be prescribed if deemed appropriate.
Tickets now at theglen.com.
Welcome back to Lime Rock Park, where Corey Heim continues to show the way. He's led all of the 49 laps thus far. Been watching Grant Enfinger. He is back in the 10th position. He's trying to get going. Rajah Caruth just ahead of him in turn 2.
Grant Enfinger has got a bunch of trucks around him. Right in front of the Grant Enfinger truck is the machine of Thomas Annunziata. Behind Enfinger is Brent Cruz. Those 3 drivers race single file through turn 4.
And Brent Cruz is one of those drivers looking to get a bit of a rebound after that trouble on the initial restart to stage number 2. Currently riding in the tire tracks of Grant Enfinger, who's trying to get after Thomas Annunziata for position.
It is a good line of trucks right now working into turn number 6. It goes Majeski, Rajah Caruth, Thomas Annunziata. That's where you find Grant Enfinger behind him, Brent Cruz, and then Gio Ruggiero, a front row seat.
All of this racing from 7th on back. Ty Majeski in the 7th position. Then it's Rajah Caruth, Thomas Annunziata, Grant Enfinger, and Brent Cruz. All have singled out as they go back to turn 1.
It's a real big gaggle of these pickup trucks that continue to follow each other around this very technical course here here in Lime Rock Park. We'll pick those drivers up as they exit turn number 2. Again, we're watching the ongoing battle happening behind Ty Majeski and Raja Caruth. That's where you find, again, Thomas Annunziata, Grant Enfinger, Brent Cruz. Gio Ruggiero has joined this battle as well.
Yeah, Gio's doing a nice job in that Tricon Toyota as he tries to catch his teammate Brent Cruz. So this line of trucks continues to just be nose to tail, separated by half trunk length each.
And that time at the top of the hill, Thomas Annunziata, he got really sideways. He loses distance to Raja Caruth, but Grant Enfinger still can't find a way around him as they work downhill to turn 7.
All of that traffic coming off turn 7 as race leader Corey Heim is already headed back into turn number 1. That battle for 7th, better than 11 seconds behind Corey Heim. Heim has been so good since the drop of the green flag here today. Tim Catalfamo, on your side of the racetrack on the east end of the course, where is he so much better specifically on that end from everybody else?
Well, it's better to tell you where Corey Heim is not very good, because he is really excellent on all corners of this very technical layout here in Lime Rock Park. The only issue that I have seen Corey Heim have so far today is coming into turn 4. When you make that slight bend to the right before you get to the Paul Newman straight, there is some rumble strips that some of the drivers have just miscalculated a little bit as they've gone into that corner. They've hit the right front of those rumble strips with the right front of their pickup trucks. It's unhinged the truck a little bit. It's made the rear end start to slide around. They've had to fight the wheel. That's happened maybe once or twice for Corey Heim. However, other than that, he has been smooth sailing, and there is nobody within a country mile of Corey Heim right now.
Smooth sailing right now through turns 1, 2, and 3 for Corey Heim, who has built a 4-second advantage over Lane Riggs. How about on the backside of this course, Chris Wilner? You're over above turns 4, 5, and 6.
I am, and Corey just came by me. The difference here for Corey, maybe than some of the other Truck Series competitors, has been the fact he's able to roll the center of that kind of wide turn number 5 to get that momentum up the hill, maybe better than some of the others. The reason is he's not shifting down to second gear like some other Truck Series competitors are, and so that low gear is able, or that low RPM in the truck, because of the higher gear, he's able to get the power down a little bit quicker and easier, rather than spinning the tires for those in the lower gear with a lot more torque and a lot more power. So others are going to have to try to figure it out, because Corey Heim, although it looks like he's going slow, is able to carry a lot more center speed, and that just leads all the way down the back straightaway.
How about on the west side of the property? Nathan Prouty, that's where you're positioned today for the NASCAR Racing Network. Has Corey Heim made anything close to a mistake on that end of the track?
No, not by any means, Kurt, not at all. The only time that he has come close to making a mistake is at the very top of the hill. There's a lot of grass that gets laid down there as the drivers dip the left side tires off. Corey Heim occasionally will have a little bit of a slip in that grass and dirt that gets slung across the racetrack. But as he works down the back straightaway and into turn number 6, it's a very wide sweeping corner that you have to carry speed through. Everybody else, they want to have the rear end of the truck step out. Corey Heim, not at all. His truck very comfortable making his way through turn 6, the west bend here at Lime Rock Park, and he's also not dipping his left side tires off the racetrack on corner exit. We have seen multiple trucks do that today, but Corey Heim, not at all.
We have seen that in turn 6. We have seen that in the final right-hand turn, turn number 7. The trucks dip their left side tires off into the grass, kick a little bit of dust up, some slip sliding around, including for Corey Heim, but everybody has kept it pointed in the right direction. Corey Heim has led all 53 laps thus far. We are in stage number 2, just past halfway and 16 laps shy of the end of the stage. He has built a 4.2-second lead over Lane Riggs. Jordan Taylor is 3rd, Connor Mosack 4th, Ian Caden Honeycutt is 5th. Chandler Smith runs in 6th, Ty Majeski in 7th, Raja Caruth in 8th, Thomas Annunziata in 9th, and Grant Enfinger in 10th.
With Brent Cruz in 11th position, Gio Ruggiero 12th, Cam Waters 13th, Daniel Hemrick 14th, Tyler Ankrum 15th, Andres Perez de Lara is 16th, Ben Rhodes is 17th, Jake Garcia is 18th, Josh Balicki 19th, and Stuart Friesen 20th.
Matt Crafton runs in 21st. Then it's Tanner Gray, still recovering from an early race incident, in 22nd. Dawson Sutton 23rd. Matt Mills 24th. Ian Jackwood 25th. Ben Mayer in 26th. Dale Quarterly 27th. Timmy Hill in 28th. William Lambros in 29th. Tody Breidinger in 20th. Then Wesley Slimp 31st. Frankie Muniz in the 32nd position, the final truck on the lead lap. Spencer Boyd is in 33rd. And Alex LeBay out of this event behind the wall due to mechanical issues, finishing in 34th here this afternoon.
15 laps to go here in Stage 2, and Corey Heim, his lead better than 4.5 seconds back to Lane Riggs. We've talked about the fact this can be a challenging track on which to pass. You can get door-to-door with somebody, but timing it to complete the pass before you have to negotiate the next set of corners, that can be a challenge for sure. We mentioned that because Brent Cruz is a driver who, in just his second career start of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series today, he's got a truck that's fast, he's got a truck that's been fast all weekend, but after this restart, when Stage 2 began, Kyle, he got off the course and lost a lot of positions, and he's not been able to make them back up.
Was in the top 5 for much of the opening stage of this race. On the restart, went off course, fell out of the top 10. He is currently in the 11th position right now, some 16.5 seconds behind the race leader Corey Heim. And you're right, Kurt, it's all about timing, trying to get good runs at the exit of the corners, especially turn 7 onto this long straightaway, making a move potentially and setting up for a pass going into that first right-hander of turn 1.
Speaking of making a pass, Corey Heim is dealing with some slower traffic as he works over to turn number 2.
Corey Heim exits turn number 2, bypasses the Spencer Boyd Chevrolet Silverado, now racing his way to turn 3. Corey Heim looks ahead. He's got the Wesley Slimp Toyota Tundra about 5 truck lengths in front of him. However, it is still a very long gap back to second-place driver Lane Riggs.
It really is, Tim, and the gap continues to get bigger as they negotiate turn number 5. Corey Heim quickly approaching that Wesley Slimp machine, and then it is all the way back to just now when Lane Riggs comes by me and goes up the hill.
And another thing to go off of Corey Heim's perfect day when he has caught lap traffic on the course. He has been flawless, very methodical and careful getting around them. He has just had such a good day here so far.
And continues the lead as he exits turn number 7 and closes in on some of those slower trucks here on the front straightaway to overhaul them as he continues to lead and extend it now to 4.1 seconds over Lane Riggs. Want to pick up a good battle just into the top 10 coming off of turn 7 right now. 3 trucks, Rajah Caruth, Grant Enfinger, and Brent Cruz, all separated by a couple of truck lengths. You can add Taylor Gray or Gio Ruggiero into that mix as well as they go to turn 1.
All these trucks now racing their way through the big bend in turns 1 and 2. Now onto the short straightaway to turn number 3. Rajah Caruth in his blue, red, and white Chevrolet Silverado, leading Grant Enfinger by about 3 truck lengths. It's 1 truck length behind Enfinger to Brent Cruz, 2 more back to Gio Ruggiero.
It's battle for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. The line of trucks now entering the uphill. Rajah Caruth able to get that HendrickCars.com Chevy really gripped up off the uphill, but Grant Enfinger's on the charge.
And a big slide by Brent Cruz behind Grant Enfinger. Cruz able to get that Toyota Tundra pointed back in the right direction, but he loses some time to Grant Enfinger.
That battle singles out off of turn number 7. They'll make their way up the front straightaway with 11 laps to go. It continues to be Corey Heim by 4.9 seconds over Lane Riggs at Lime Rock.
Kyle Larson brings his Chevy 4 tires Sunoco Racing Fuel.
From fueling NASCAR champions on the track for over 20 years to innovating 94 octane, the highest octane on the market. Performance is what Sunoco does. All Sunoco fuel at the pump meets the same top-tier standards as the fuel used in NASCAR.
Here for Ryan Blaney, 4 tires with Sunoco fuel.
From the track to your tank, you can trust Sunoco to help your vehicle perform at its peak.
NASCAR fans, get ready to feel the rush. The official NASCAR Tracks app is your ultimate race day companion. From managing your event tickets to navigating with wayfinding maps, event schedules, and facility info, it's got everything you need to make your experience unforgettable.
Ready, green flag, green
Bring
flag.
your headphones and dive into the action like never before with live scanner access.
Got a race to win, my man.
Listen in on driver and team communications at select NASCAR Tracks. Download NASCAR Tracks now on the Apple App Store or Google Play.
Into the final stage, or final 10 laps of stage number 2. 40 laps to go in the race here at Lime Rock Park. Corey Heim has led all of the laps thus far, 60 in total, and is out front now by 4.8 seconds over last week's Pocono winner, Lane Riggs. From Lime Rock Park, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
At Eero, we believe it's time to get more Wi-Fi from your Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi that delivers on the promise of Wi-Fi 7 with lightning-fast speeds and minimal latency. Wi-Fi that lets us do all the things all at once and keeps us safe at the same time. It's time for Wi-Fi that's so reliable and easy, you don't even have to think about it. It's not too good to be true. It's just Eero. Learn more at Eero.com. That's EERO.com. Eero, the way Wi-Fi should be.
Every time the siren sounds or lights flash, someone's life is on the line. At Whelen Engineering, we know first responders carry that weight every day. That's why for over 70 years, we've led the emergency warning industry, designing and manufacturing the lights, sirens, and safety systems they trust right here in America. Because when the mission is critical, there's no room for second best. Whelen Engineering, trusted to protect first responders.
Continuing under the green flag here for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series at Lime Rock Park. 8 laps to go here in stage number 2. Corey Heim has led all the laps over Lane Riggs, Jordan Taylor, Connor Mosack, and Caden Honeycutt. So far, a fairly clean race here in the first couple of stages.
It has been, but Steve Post, we're getting ready soon for that stage break in about 8 more laps. Do you foresee this race when we work our way through those stops and to get ready for the final stage? How calm do you think this race will remain?
I think the race, it's going to be interesting to see. I think at the front of the field, Corey Heim wants to do exactly like he has done. Where it's really gotten interesting is second, third, and the battle fourth on back has just been a dandy. One of the drivers in there, Caden Honeycutt, he had that car, or that truck that was really good in the first 20 laps and faded. Phil Gould, his crew chief, has been preaching patience. Let's make the truck survive, make the truck last, and they've done a really, really good job. So I think to your original question, your big question, I think there's going to be some mixing it up. I think there might be some pushing and shoving. I just don't know if it'll be at the front of the field. So Caden Honeycutt having a real good run, though, here in the fifth spot right now. Jason Toy, what are you hearing and what's your expectation?
I think one of the things about we get down closer to when the pay window opens for that checkered flag, you're going to things to start to get very animated, especially on the next restart, because it could be the last restart that we have after the end of stage number 2. But Jordan Taylor, been listening to his crew here throughout the afternoon, and a lot of coaching in the aspect of staying focused forward out front and trying to put down good laps each and every time, and conserving his tires for later in the run. And that's what he's been working on, keeping those rear tires a little bit better shape than what the guys in front of him are out there on the race course. But another driver that we talked about in the pre-race, we heard from Ty Majeski, so far good, consistent. The truck does drop off like they anticipate, looking to make more adjustments for Ty Majeski and the rest of that crew here as we get later on in this run. Matter of fact, as we get ready to end stage number 2.
And Kurt, that final stage, the green flag will fly to begin it. It could be the shortest run of the day. It'll come within the final 30 laps, probably closer to 25 laps left in this event. So if you're going to try to pick up spots, you're going to want to do it at that stage or at that point.
And that's true. And to the point that Jason Toy made a moment ago about when we come to the restart to start that final stage of the race, things could get very intense at that point, because we have not had any yellow flags for cause on the racetrack today. The only yellow that's flown so far was the one that came out at the end of stage number 1. And like Steve Post pointed out, what do you do with Corey Heim? I mean, he's not only been good, he's been overpowering today. For example, his race lead now has grown to better than 6 full seconds, almost identical to what we saw in the opening stage when he won that first stage by 7.2 seconds over Lane Riggs.
Right now, the only person I think that can beat Corey Heim is Corey Heim. As we have seen on a couple of occasions this season, he does have 4 wins, but I feel like that team should have gone to victory lane a whole lot more in the first 14 races of the year.
They have had their share of difficulties. And again, if you look at the playoff leaderboard, look at all the wins they have had, look at the huge advantage he has in the battle for the regular season championship, you'd say, wow, it's been a flawless season. But if nothing else, they have had their share of bad luck from time to time. Or you're right, Kyle, they could easily perhaps have doubled that win total. As we get ready now with 5 laps to go here in stage 2 to wrap up this stage of the race, want to take a moment just to send get well wishes to our our colleague Dan Hubbard out in Southern California. He was originally to work this broadcast today, and our thanks to Nathan Prouty for being able and willing to fill in on short notice as he works over on the west side of the course this afternoon. But Dan Hubbard is somebody that grew up with a broad motorsports range of interests. He followed not only NASCAR, but growing up in California, I think Dan Gurney was an influence on him. He enjoyed following the All-American Racers team that Dan put together. And I know that he has a deep appreciation for Lime Rock Park. And when he spiked a fever and took ill, he said, "I'll be fine, I'll recover." But I know he hated to especially miss this race today.
And hopefully he gets another opportunity in the coming years to come out to Lime Rock Park. So get well, Dan. KKD hasn't been the same without you here this weekend. As we continue under the green flag, just a couple laps left here. In fact, just 4 to go in stage number 2. Corey Heim, the race leader, continues to open it up. 6.1 seconds over Lane Riggs. And how about Lane coming off that big day at the Pocono Raceway just a week ago? They have found their groove right now, and that momentum has continued into turning both right and left here this weekend.
It has. Lane Riggs is a driver that, of course, came on strong late in the 2024 campaign and ended up kind of upsetting the apple cart. Wasn't a playoff driver, but won the first 2 races in the playoffs last year, and now he has managed to regain some momentum a little earlier in the season this year. As you mentioned, Kyle, he had the win at Pocono last week, and showing that he's pretty competitive on a road course layout here today as well. Sure, he's nearly 6 seconds behind Corey Heim, but let's flip that around. You look back to Jordan Taylor in third, and there's a gap of nearly 6 full seconds from Lane Riggs back to Taylor.
5 consecutive top 10 finishes for Lane Riggs, including that win a week ago at the Pocono Raceway. It puts him in the playoffs, and if he can do what he did last year in the playoffs this season, he'll no doubt be one of the drivers to beat.
That is an excellent point, because had he been playoff eligible, just didn't work out last year, didn't get a win in the regular season, didn't have the points from the regular season either. But you're right, Kyle, he has shown that when we get to that time of the year, he can be very competitive. Just 2 laps to go here in stage number 2. Pit road is closed. Rajah Caruth has been fighting to hang on to the 9th position. Let's pick up that battle on the course.
Rajah Caruth has got his hands full, Kurt Becker, with Grant Enfinger. Enfinger has been continuing to hound the back bumper of Caruth the last several laps, but to no avail. Caruth was unable to keep Enfinger behind him. They race single file down the Paul Newman straight.
Yeah, Rajah Caruth got a little bit loose off the kink down the Paul Newman straightaway, now into the braking zone to turn number 5. Grant Enfinger, who came on strong at the end of stage 1, looking to do so here in stage 2.
Each driver, each truck, good through the top of the hill and down the back straight into turn number 6. Matter of fact, Caruth a little better. Adds a truck length to that advantage as they race downhill.
That race for position some 22 seconds behind race leader Corey Heim, who has already begun the last lap of this second stage. Let's pick him up on the course.
Corey Heim leaving turn 4, racing towards Chris Wilner.
Yeah, Corey Heim setting his sails in the wind yet again. Dispatched a couple of lap trucks about a lap ago. Has a solid 20 truck lengths until he reaches the next lap truck of Jack Wood. But Corey Heim easy up the hill.
Corey Heim has nothing around him right now. He could coast from here to the start-finish line to end stage number 2. Corey Heim well on his way to another stage victory.
His advantage was 7.2 seconds when the green and white checkered flag fell to end stage 1. And as Corey Heim comes off turn number 7 and back onto the Sam Posey straight, he sees the green and white checkered flag to wrap up stage 2, and he will win this stage by a margin of 7.1 seconds. So Corey Heim, not only has he been good today, he has been remarkably consistent so far here today as well. So Corey Heim won the first stage of the race. He now bags the second stage of the race as well. That leaves us just 30 laps to go here today as the caution flag now comes out to signify the end of stage 2. Corey Heim wins the stage. Lane Riggs comes home in the second position. And then it was Jordan Taylor third, Connor Mozak in fourth, Chandler Smith fifth, Caden Honeycutt sixth, Ty Majeski in seventh, Thomas Annunziata was eighth, Rajah Caruth ninth, Grant Enfinger completes the stage in 10th.
DIYers, ever start a project thinking that this'll be quick, only for it to be anything but? We've all been there, and that's why you need Craftsman, DIYers' most trusted brand. Craftsman's V20 battery works across drills, saws, trimmers, mowers, and over 100 other products from the house to the backyard and beyond. No dead stops, no refuels, just grab, swap, and get it done. Because your project might fight back, but your tools shouldn't. Head to Craftsman.com to learn more. Craftsman, build on.
Under the Saturday night lights at Richmond, there's no place to hide. Tight turns, tempers flaring. When the sun goes down and the sparks fly. Dreams of the playoffs live or die in prime time. 3 nights, 3 races, 1 shot at the best weekend of your summer. You better not miss it. NASCAR weekend at Richmond Raceway, August 14th through the 16th. Get your tickets now at richmondraceway.com.
Pit stops are coming up in just a moment from Lime Rock Park. This is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options now available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-375-3232. 800-375-3232. That's 800-375-3232. National Debt Relief, the official debt relief partner of NASCAR.
Welcome back to Lime Rock Park as we are working the caution flag, the second one of the afternoon. This one flying for the conclusion of stage number 2. The field coming out of turn 7 right now, and then drivers all making the right-hand turn off of the Sam Posey straight, the front straightaway here at Lime Rock, and now working their way down the pit lane. Kyle, when we stepped away for the break, you pulled back your headset and you gave me a stat on Corey Heim I found difficult to believe, but indeed it's true.
This is 14th stage win in the first 15 races of the season, by far more than any other driver at this stage of any previous season of stage racing. Kyle Busch had 10, John Hunter Nemechek had 9, Ben Rhodes 8. Also, Noah Gragson back in 2018 with 7, but Corey Heim has nearly doubled those numbers. We still have a long way to go here in this 2025 campaign.
The lesson learned, I will never doubt you again.
As you should, or as you shouldn't. As the leaders, in fact, the entire field is on the pit lane waiting for the last couple of trucks to get stopped. NASCAR about to clear the pit crews. In fact, the crews jump over the wall right now and go to work as we go down to pit road. And Steve Post.
You know, we talked about the various crew members working on these trucks and pitting these trucks. Lane Riggs has a very, very special signboard carrier and a guy that's catching the tires. That's his dad, Scott Riggs, is here catching the tires, bringing them back over the wall and running the signboard for Lane. When it comes to the race truck here, Lane's been talking to Dylan Capello, his crew chief. He just cannot get the throttle down, the gas down, up off from the corners. The truck just does not want to get going up off from the corners. He needs it. They're going to make some adjustments on it as well. Caden Honeycutt, we talked about his truck being good early and fading off. They were able to extend that a little bit longer this time. Phil Gould going to be looking to do a little bit of the same thing as far as that goes. Ty Majeski still very, very loose, no forward drive. And Corey Heim, well, he's the same, too. I don't think I'd touch anything, Scott. Just get 4 tires on it, Sunoco Racing Fuel. They're going to take a brush of the grill, make sure there's no debris. But Corey Heim has a good truck, and they have not laid one adjustment on it all day long, nor will they do that here at the end of stage number 2. Jason Toy?
As they get the 2-minute call here for the teams down here on the pit lane, making their stop on the entrance side of things, including Jordan Taylor. We documented him throughout the afternoon. Started off in second, been running third through the first stage and the second stage. Losing a little bit on the rear grip, so they're going to make an adjustment there for him. Had the chassis chassis wrench out. Sunoco fuel is on for Racing Goodyear. Eagles are on as well. Also his teammate, Thomas Annunziato's behind him. We've also got Andres Perez, Grant Enfinger. Also, we've seen Dawson Sutton making a stop. Dale Quarterly, too. Rajah Caruth and Matt Crafton, along with Jake Garcia and Ben Rhodes, all here on this section of pit lane. A lot of chassis wrenches going into the back deck of these trucks to make the adjustments they need. They're going to clean the windshield off, clean the grills off, give them a final run here to the checkered flags here at Lime Rock.
All right, thank you very much, Jason Toy, down on the pit lane as teams continue to work into the final minute or so before these trucks roll back out onto the racetrack. This, of course, the second leg of a very busy weekend of NASCAR racing between here at Lime Rock Park and at the Echo Park Speedway in Atlanta. Nick Sanchez picking up the NASCAR Xfinity Series win a night ago. And later on tonight, the NASCAR Cup Series will compete in action. Joey Logano winning the pole position there over Josh Berry, Ryan Blaney, Austin Cindric, and Connecticut native Ryan Preece will start in the top 5 here later tonight.
You mentioned Nick Sanchez getting the victory last night after some weather issues and some lightning delays. They wrapped that race up at around 12:30 a.m. Eastern time, and Nick Sanchez getting that first NASCAR Xfinity Series victory. We emphasize that fact because he is a graduate of the ARC and Menard Series. And a reminder, Motor Racing Network will have live coverage coming up a little bit later on, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, for the Lime Rock 150. Be our pleasure to bring you the action. Should be a good race to wrap up a doubleheader here today.
Trucks have got their Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel and are going to head back out onto the racetrack for the start of Stage 3 coming up.
Hey, I hear you think podcasts are all about true crime, huh? Well, wise guy, the iHeartRadio app's got all kinds of podcasts. We got stuff you should know and stuff they don't want you to know. We got Bobby Bones, Big Boy, and Lou Later. We got SpongeBob Binge Pants and Exotic Erotic Story Time. We got Doughboys, Two Dudes in a Kitchen, Green Eggs and Dan. Hey, we got Elf Quest. We got podcasts for everything on the iHeartRadio app for free. If you don't download that, well, that's not just a true crime, my friend. That's criminal.
Looking for weekly motorsports podcasts to stay up to date on what's happening on and off the track? The Motor Racing Network is the place. Hear from NASCAR crew chiefs on MRN Crew Call. All the happenings from regional touring series and local tracks on NASCAR Coast to Coast. Sprint Car Talk on Winged Nation. NASCAR history on MRN Classic Races. And hear from the drivers on NASCAR Live. MRN podcasts available on MRN.com, YouTube, or your favorite podcast platform.
Corey Heim leads the field off of the pit lane. The trucks will begin to double up in their rows of 2 for the start of Stage 3 and the final 28 or so lap run to the finish. Lane Riggs, Jordan Taylor, Connor Mosack, and Chandler Smith, the top 5. From Lime Rock Park, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Under the Saturday night lights at Richmond, there's no place to hide. Tight turns, tempers flaring. When the sun goes down and the sparks fly. Dreams of the playoffs live or die in prime time. 3 nights, 3 races, 1 shot at the best weekend of your summer. You better not miss it. NASCAR Weekend at Richmond Raceway, August 14th through the 16th. Get your tickets now at richmondraceway.com.
After an exciting night at the Monster Mile, only 3 races remain in the regular season on the 2025 eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. NASCAR's officially sanctioned esports series featuring the top sim racers from around the world. The Segment 3 title and the playoff grid still hang in the balance. Don't forget to tune in Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern for round 12 from Chicago on eNASCAR.com. Brought to you by Coca-Cola iRacing and NASCAR.
Field crossing the start-finish line behind the safety truck, a lap or so away from the resumption of the LiUNA 150 here at Lime Rock Park for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. We have now entered the final stage of the race, presented by Goodyear, building tires for more than 125 years from the track to the street. And in all conditions, Goodyear has a tire for you. Goodyear, still, always, forever.
field just crossing the start-finish line. They'll put them back under the green flag here shortly. 27 laps to go when we go back racing. Just checking the updated playoff leaderboard. And, of course, all of this remains in flux throughout the course of any given race. But coming into this race today, Caden Honeycutt and Grant Enfinger and Ty Majeski, the three drivers that occupy the last three spots for the playoffs, right now they would be in on points, and stage points do make a difference because they have each won stage points today. They have increased their position above the cut line compared to Jake Garcia. He was 10 below coming in. He's been near the tail end of the top 20 all day. He's now 23 points out. But again, this will be subject to change throughout the rest of the day and over the course of the next three races.
Gio Ruggiero outside looking in by 72. And how about the former champ, Ben Rhodes, currently not even close to making the 10-driver playoff field. Currently 72 points out in the 13th position. Tanner Gray also outside looking in. So we talked about at the top of the show, it is crunch time for a lot of these teams as we enter the final stretch of the regular season, and those drivers all struggling for the most part here today. Haven't really talked about them toward the front of the field. In fact, drivers like Ben Rhodes, mid-pack right now, will restart in the 16th position a lap and a half from now.
As far as the remaining three races after today, which will conclude the regular season, those final three regular season events, well, we go back short track racing. This NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series will take a break for a couple of weeks, Kyle, and then on Friday, July 25, the Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park will be home to an ARCA Menard Series NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series doubleheader. And the NASCAR Racing Network will have live coverage of that T-Sport 200 for this NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So if a driver or team feels like the short track is their forte, they will have a shot to get back on that layout coming up in just a couple of weeks.
Going to be tough to beat Ty Majeski at that layout, as he has been strong there the last couple of seasons. So we'll see if that is the win, or if he can get the win that he needs coming up in just a couple of weeks' time in Indianapolis. As far as this series, back in this region of the country, kind of a resurgence for the trucks here in the Northeast. They return to Watkins Glen next month for the first time since 2021, and then for the first time since 2017, racing in the playoffs at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So fans up here in the Northeast going to get their fair share of NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series racing here before the end of the season.
I have to mention, by the way, you have, given the fact that you are a native New Englander and from Connecticut, originally still have a home here, you have often emphasized the fact that there's a strong short track arrangement throughout this part of the country. You've got a lot of good short tracks and a lot of short track fans. Also noticed, though, today, seeing a lot of those folks coming here today, and they're wearing their T-shirts from their favorite home track, but they do also very much appreciate the road course layout as well, because we've seen a lot of folks that have come here today sporting those T-shirts. They're glad to spend a beautiful 80-degree Saturday afternoon enjoying this first ever NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series visit to Lime Rock.
And there's a lot of folks here. About 20,000 fans have come out for this doubleheader. Of course, the ARCA Menard Series racing later this afternoon, joining the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, the debut weekend here at Lime Rock Park. And like you mentioned, a great weather day here at this 1.5-mile road course, as they're working on some fluid here on the front straightaway, and the safety team out on track right now will mop that fluid up, so it'll be just an extra lap or two before we get back under the green flag. In fact, they're going to stop the field over on the backside of the course. Chris Wilner over on the backside. Has the field come to a stop in front of you?
Yeah, and the Chevy Pace truck just came to a stop just as they were about to exit the Paul Newman straight back here on the east side of the course. So the field is doubled up. They did take the choose the last time around, so Corey Heim opting for driver's right, as he has done all afternoon long, the preferred lane when we get back under green to the inside of turn number 1. Of course, Lane Riggs to the outside, but the truck's still fired. Everybody has those engines still revving behind the wheel. But yes, the field 2 by 2 all down the Paul Newman straightaway, coming to a stop as they clean up the fluid on the front straightaway.
Just saw Rich Keeter withdraw the caution flag and extend the red flag. as he has taken a seat now atop the starter stand, and he keeps an eye on the situation here along the Sam Posey straightaway, along the front stretch where a lot of fluid has apparently been dropped as well, toward driver's left, toward the outside lane of the home stretch. That being addressed now by the safety crew as we check in with Jason Toy.
You know, one of the great things here about this series, we talk a lot about development between young drivers and bringing them into the series and working their way up through the ranks of it. And, of course, a lot of these teams have got great veteran crew chiefs. Kevin Bono Mannion's down here. He's got Rajah Caruth. Brian Patty, he has got the all-star truck here for the folks from Spire. And, Brian, let's talk a little bit about your driver out there in Jordan Taylor. This guy's got more experience on this racetrack than anybody. What's he saying about his race truck?
It's pretty good. I mean, we just need a little bit more grip to run with the 11, but to come in here on a one-off first truck basis, it's pretty impressive what he's done the last 2 days. From sim on Tuesday to pre-event documents on Wednesday to flying up here on Thursday and us getting together on Friday, having a solid practice, just trying to check the boxes like we do every week with all the drivers we have, and he's been as good as any, and he's been a treat to work with.
You talk about all the drivers. You got the hard task. You got a different driver, it seems like, every week. Some of them repeat, but how hard is it for you to get adjusted with all these drivers that have sharing this seat?
It makes it fun, right? I've been doing this a long time, and, to work with professional, gracious athletes like Mr. Taylor, it's why I do it. So, yeah, it's been a good year so far. We've had some finishes. We look back and say we've given up a couple wins, obviously, here lately. But all our drivers have given extra, really good efforts, and we got top fives with most of them, if not all of them, by the end of the year. So, our focus is trying to get in the championship. We got 3 races after this one left, and so we can play with the big boys.
All right, real quick before we go back, they're cleaning up out here. What does Jordan need, especially on this restart, because we know how track position is here?
Yeah, obviously a good solid restart. These guys, this is where the people with the inexperience kind of get eat up, right? So hopefully he's learned his lesson the last couple of ones. He's done a great job, and if we can get through smoothly, like he said, and get after him, we can probably run second, but 11's pretty hard.
All right, VP, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Brian Patty, crew chief for Jordan Taylor here today. And like we talked about, Steve Post, this truck, this number 7 of the 4 trucks here that Spire Motorsports has here on the Craftsman Truck Series, has been the all-star truck this year. They've got a pretty big road course all-star in there in Jordan Taylor today. What's going on down that way?
Yeah, you're right. Brian Patty has had a lot of drivers. Phil Gould has had one driver, Caden Honeycutt. And Phil, just kind of big picture before we talk about today's race. How has Caden developed over the course of this year as you guys have rolled through it together?
Caden's done a great job, with his limited experience in trucks. He's hopped right in, and, he started off the year nailing down top 10s and progressing to top 5s and now to top 3s, and hopefully we can get a couple more spots out of this one today.
Okay, let's talk about today's race. What more do you need to get up there and mix it up with Corey Heim in that 11 truck?
Well, I feel like the 11 is by far the class of the field, and the 34 is a little bit better than everybody else, but I feel like we could run third if we could just get there. It's just all track position, and with no strategy opportunities, it's really hard to pass on the racetrack. They've about got to let the other guys make a mistake.
So how is the truck, and how much have you had to work on it through the course of the day?
The balance has been good. We lost overall grip as the run went on the first run, and made an air pressure adjustment, and it was better the second run there, and do more of the same this last run here.
We shall see what happens. That is Phil Gould, crew chief for Caden Honeycutt,
who is making his 49th series start here this afternoon, coming off a career best 3rd last week at the Pocono Raceway and currently 9th in the championship standings. Here's a look at who's getting it done out on the track right now, presented by Craftsman. Mid-project regret syndrome? Not on your watch. Power up your DIY game literally with Craftsman's V20 lineup. 1 battery system, 100-plus products, and a million reasons to build on. Learn more at craftsman.com.
I don't know how you avoid Corey Heim in this discussion.
I agree.
I'll switch it up just a little bit. We often tend to talk about who's getting it done in terms of who has improved position most since the start of the race or since the last restart. There's another way to look at that. Who improves by the margin that he's leading by after the drop of the green flag. And with Corey Heim, he has won each of the first 2 stages by better than 7 full seconds. So how does a leader, the old saying, go to the front and improve your position? Well, that's essentially what he's done today, is just keep himself so far out in front of the field, nobody's been close.
And he'll lead them back to the green flag here shortly. The red flag has been lifted. The caution flag back out here at Lime Rock Park, just a little while away. It would be about a lap and a half or so from beginning stage number 3. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the NASCAR Racing Network. Wrapping up the caution flag that ended stage 2 and ultimately a red flag to clean up fluid here on the front straightaway. Another lap or so before we get back underway. Kyle, Ricky, and Kurt Becker with you in the Motor Racing Network broadcast booth here this afternoon. Tim Catalfamo, Chris Wilner, Nathan Prouty out in the corners. Steve Post and Jason Toy down on the pit lane here at Lime Rock Park in a beautiful afternoon that has seen a dominant race by Corey Heim. He has led all 74 laps thus far. We head into the final quarter of the event, and like we have heard by a couple of the folks on the pit lane, this next restart could be so key for everybody, including Corey.
There could be the idea, the perception, the belief that this will be the best chance to get around him and put him behind traffic for the first time today, because he has been at the front of the field. He's had nobody in front of him. He's had nobody alongside him except for when he's had to work his way up through the back end of the field and put cars, or trucks, I should say, a lap down. We heard Steve Post and Jason Toy, and they were talking to crew chiefs a moment ago. How about that crew chief driver pairing, Scott Zipadelli and Corey Heim at Tricon Garage? That has been a dynamite combination. Corey, we talk about the fact he's had 15 wins in this series. Scott's been on board with him for all but about 1 or 2 of those victories. There's no doubt Corey's a very talented young driver, but Scott Zipadelli on the other side of that equation, a very experienced, very accomplished crew chief.
Zipadelli, one of the most veteran crew chiefs, I think, in this NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. We remember him back when he was with Red Horse Racing many years ago in the early years of this series, and still finding success here in 2025.
Do you ever get the impression when you talk to Scott Zipadelli that his mind is elsewhere? It's like the wheels are always turning. Always. Even if you're having a conversation before practice starts, he's polite. He will accommodate you. He'll answer your questions, but you can tell there's something behind those eyes that's already thinking ahead to practice, to qualifying in the race.
Field comes off of turn number 7. We'll get the caution flag still waving hot and heavy from Rich Keeter from the starter stand. They're going to look like work their way through that speedy drive one more time here up the front stretch and into turn number 1. So we'll let you know where your favorite driver will be restarting here in about a lap from now as they continue to pace behind the safety truck. Corey Heim is the leader over Lane Riggs, Jordan Taylor, Connor Mosack, and Chandler Smith. Then it's Ty Majeski, Caden Honeycutt, Rajah Caruth, Thomas Annunziata, and Grant Enfinger, the top 10.
Brent Cruz 11th, Cam Waters 12th, Gio Ruggiero 13th, Tyler Ankrum 14th, Daniel Hemrick 15th. The rest of the top 20, Andres Perez de Lara, Ben Rhodes, Jake Garcia, Josh Balicki, and Stuart Friesen.
Matt Crafton will restart 21st, Dawson Sutton in the 22nd spot. Then it's Tanner Gray, Matt Mills, and Jack Wood. Ben Mayer will restart 26th, Dale Quarterly 27th, Tony Breidinger in 28th, William Lambros in 29th, and Frankie Muniz 30th. Rounding out the field will include Timmy Hill in 31st. The final truck, make that Wesley Slimp, the final truck on the lead lap, Spencer Boyd and Alex LeBay, 33rd and 34th.
Opening stage of the race was 35 laps. Second stage of the race was 35 laps. This final stage was to be 30 laps. It will be 30 laps total, but if you're talking green flag laps, well, by the time we get the restart, it's going to be just 24 laps to go here to conclude this race.
Shortest run of the day potentially coming up next. Again, we have not had any caution flags for cause. Both of the yellows to conclude stages here at Lime Rock Park. The first yellow on lap 35 to end stage 1. The most recent yellow to wrap up stage number 2. And now with 24 laps to go, we will go green, this time by Corey Heim, Lane Riggs. Will they fan out 2 and 3 wide into turn number 1? Will Corey maybe spin the tires on the restart? Time will tell as they exit turn number 7. Here they come to green.
Corey Heim has led 75 laps today. He punches the throttle, and he tries to shake free of Lane Riggs. Riggs is having none of it. He's right there alongside, going back to turn 1.
Corey Heim trying to squirt out in the lead, but Lane Riggs is not done with him just yet. Exiting turn number 2. They are bumper to bumper racing for the lead to turn 3. It's Corey Heim, the race leader, through this left-hand corner. Lane Riggs in lockstep formation behind him. Connor Mosak filling up the rearview mirror of Riggs in third. Ty Majeski fourth.
Ty Majeski starting to make a charge on Lane Riggs for that Mosak for number 2 position, but Mosak peeks the nose drivers right to Lane Riggs, can't get it done up the hill.
Corey Heim has already danced away with a 2-truck length advantage as they make their way through the West Bend. Farther back, a huge move by Brent Cruz. Took a peek at the inside of Rajah Caruth, near contact, and now Brent Enfinger goes by Brent Cruz.
Rajah Caruth will hang on to that position. That is just out of the top 5. They are tight. Brent Cruz stepping out of line on Grant Enfinger. One truck making it 3 wide here up the front straightaway. That is Thomas Annunziata. This is 8th, 9th, and 10th as they fan out back to turn 1.
It's a mad scramble into turn number 2. Thomas Annunziata has got a fender alongside of Brent Cruz. Cruz goes off into the dirt a little bit. Now he may lose another spot to Grant Enfinger. Here's Enfinger to the left side of Brent Cruz in turn number 3. Cruz slams the door. Enfinger gets in line. Cam Waters following Enfinger back to the straightaway.
Grant Enfinger trying to pull away from Waters as he sets his sights on Brent Cruz. Brent Cruz now all over the back tailgate of Thomas Annunziata for position as they single file up the hill. Here comes Daniel Hemrick a little farther back, peeks the nose to the inside.
And Hemrick will go side by side now with his teammate of Christian Eckes as they work through turn 6. Eckes slides back into tire tracks of Hemrick as they head down the hill.
Back across the line they go. Corey Heim with the race lead. The advantage has grown to nearly a full second over Lane Riggs to turn 2.
And you get the sense, Kurt, that if Lane Riggs is going to go up and challenge Corey Heim for this lead and potentially the win today, he's going to have to get Heim on this restart. Right now, Riggs through turn 3 trails the race leader Corey Heim by about 5 truck lengths. It remains 5 truck lengths to the Paul Newman straight.
Yeah, Grant Enfinger is starting to make his way through the field as Lane Riggs in that second spot, really hustling his Ford F-150. He closes the gap just a little bit into the corner, but Corey Heim, so good up the hill, starts to leg it out by about 5 truck lengths.
Corey Heim continues to extend truck lengths to that lead as Mosak trying to get up to the back bumper of Lane Riggs. Still can't do so. It's about 3 truck lengths as they go downhill.
Matt Crafton making a stop on the pit lane, a lap after going off course on the restart. Matt now is shown outside of the top 30, so a tough break for Matt Crafton. In fact, he is 26th, the last truck on the lead lap for the 3-time champion and veteran of 582 starts in this series. 15th in points in a must-win situation to have a shot at the playoffs in 4 races from now. It's still Corey Heim. We'll pick him up on the course.
Corey Heim leaving turn number 4, headed to the Paul Newman straight. Behind them, there's a good battle happening from outside of the top 5. That's Thomas Annunziata, Brent Cruz, and Grant Enfinger.
Yeah, Brent Cruz starting to really drive that Toyota hard down into turn number 5. The last time he was all sorts of sideways. This time uses all the rumble strips the driver's right and closes back in on Annunziata.
And now into turn number 6, Brent Cruz takes a peek to the inside of Thomas Annunziata. Contact is made. Cruz up the racetrack. They're side by side heading for turn 7.
That is the ongoing battle for the 9th position as they come back off the corner and enter the Sam Posey straightaway here along the front stretch portion of the racetrack. Thomas Annunziata, he's got the 9th position, but Grant Enfinger and Brent Cruz right there.
Thomas Annunziata elbows up right now, trying to hold off Brent Cruz and Grant Enfinger. They swing their way out of turn number 2 and now race their way to the left-hander in turn 3. Thomas Annunziata in his white and blue Chevy has a mirror full of Brent Cruz. Behind Cruz is Enfinger, Cam Waters, and Gio Ruggiero.
All this happening well behind the race leader Corey Heim, but this battle continues to rage on into turn number 5. The ARCA pole sitter later today, Annunziata, still has a rearview mirror full of Brent Cruz and Grant Enfinger.
They head down the back straight into turn number 6. The west bend here. They single file out. Farther back, here's Ben Rhodes to the inside of Tyler Ankrum off turn 6.
That battle right in the middle of the field as they come off of turn number 7. Tyler Ankrum 14th, Ben Rhodes in 15th. As they hit the straightaway, they are packed up tight. Tyler Ankrum, Rhodes, and also Andres Perez de Lara in the mix. That is some 10 seconds behind the race leader, Corey Heim. Let's pick up that battle for the 14th spot.
All that traffic works their way out of turn number 2. Again, we're watching Tyler Ankrum trying to hold off Ben Rhodes and Andres Perez de Lara. They remain in the line out of turn 3, following each other stride for stride to turn 4, headed to Chris Wilner.
You can start to feel the intensity, Tim, pick up on this end of the racetrack as this sets up the rest of your lap in turn 5. It's the uphill. Ankrum continues to try to fend off Ben Rhodes. Here comes Andres Perez de Lara into the picture as well.
And right behind the Andres Perez de Lara machine is the JBMotorsports machine of Josh Balicki and Stuart Friesen following in Balicki's tire tracks.
Balicki works his way back off turn 7, back in the 17th position. Further ahead, we've been keeping an eye on Lane Riggs. He fell about a second behind race leader Corey Heim within the first couple of laps after this most recent restart. That restart came at lap 77. They're currently working lap number 83, but Riggs has been driving for all he is worth, just slinging the truck when he comes off the corner, letting it drift out to driver's left and getting back into the gas. Kyle, if Lane Riggs does not win this race, it will not be for lack of effort.
A lot of effort over the first 81 laps of this event for Lane Riggs, who lost that second on the first lap after the restart, but he has stayed. About the margin has stayed the same, 9/10 of a second or so from Corey Heim, the race leader, back to Lane Riggs in second as they cross the line to complete another lap. And Lane right now the only one to keep Corey within arm's reach. Connor Mosack a distant third, some 3.5 seconds back as they go back to turn 2.
Behind Connor Mosack in the 3rd spot. In 4th, you've got Ty Majeski. He has settled into the top 5 right now, about 2 truck lengths behind the Mosack truck into turn 3. Behind the Majeski truck in the 5th spot, that's where you find Jordan Taylor, Chandler Smith, Caden Honeycutt, and Rajat Karuth, the top 8.
That's a good battle right there, Tim, as they continue to go single file, but what a solid day for Ty Majeski hanging on to the top 5. Jordan Taylor trying to take that Spire truck a little bit closer back inside the top 5, but Chandler Smith having a good day just behind that battle.
And right behind Chandler Smith, here again comes Caden Honeycutt. A very consistent day for Caden Honeycutt as they all work off the west end of the racetrack.
Honeycutt has been in the top 10, if not the top 5, for most of the afternoon. He's picked up several stage points, and again, that has worked to his advantage as he tries to cling to one of those remaining playoff spots. The leaders come back across start-finish. It leaves us with 16 laps to go. Want to give recognition to the effort made today by Connor Mosack. He's another driver, first full-time season in this NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and he's in a position he's really got to have a win if he wants to make the playoffs. Today is one of just 4 chances left to do it. He felt good about today's race. He's got an extensive road racing background. And Steve Post, Connor Mosack, granted, he may or may not win this race today, but one thing is for sure, he has stayed right in the top 3, top 5 most of the afternoon.
Yeah, Kurt, you're absolutely right. He has been very, very solid up there in the top 3, top 5 all day long and really, really been good. What their problem has been, Kurt, over the course of this one is that they're really good on the long run, but they get so far behind on the short run. They made a couple of adjustments on the truck, just trying to make it better on the short run. The problem of it is you don't want to do that without giving up that long run speed that they've had. Blake Bainbridge making the calls here on this team for Connor Mosack, and really it's been about the same. He reported it was a little bit loose through the left-hander turn number 2 the last time, but it's kind of like, do you want to fix the problem? But your strength, the long runs, are something you don't want it to hamper, and that's kind of what they've been dealing. But even with all of that, it's been a solid top 5 run for Connor Mosack, and he's a guy that's got a lot of laps around this racetrack in TA2 Trans Am racing, and he looked forward to this one, and I think it's going to be a solid day. I know he was probably hoping for a little bit better, but a good solid run for Connor Mosack throughout the course of this race.
Coming off a season best 6 last week at Pocono, 3rd right now, about 5 seconds behind the race leader Corey Heim with that McAnally Hilgeman Racing racing entry. Great day for Connor Mosak as he continues to run third, now with 14 laps to go.
Are you ready for sights, sounds, and speed that'll shake you to your core? To see NASCAR stars like Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace, Denny Hamlin, and Ross Chastain attack the asphalt? Are you ready to make memories that'll last a lifetime? Yeah? You're ready. Then we got one more question. What are you waiting for? To experience the thrill of a NASCAR race in person, visit NASCAR.com/tickets.
Hi, folks. Kyle Petty here. I want to tell you about a place that's dear to my heart, Victory Junction. It's a year-round camp that gives kids with complex medical and physical conditions life-changing experiences that are fun, empowering, and always free for families. Please help Victory Junction support kids who need it the most by making a donation today. Any amount will help kids attend camp for free. Help make a difference by visiting victoryjunction.org/donate.
Getting down to it here at Lime Rock Park, 13 laps to go for the trucks here this afternoon. In the Liuna 150, Corey Heim continues to lead. He has led all 87 laps thus far and has a 2.2 second advantage over Lane Riggs. From Lime Rock Park, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options now available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-375-3232. 800-375-3232. That's 800-375-3232. National Debt Relief, the official debt relief partner of NASCAR.
On any podcast platform.
A lot happening here at Lime Rock Park with 12 laps to go. Dawson Sutton making a stop a lap ago after a tire down on that truck. He was on pit road, and Tim Catalfamo, looks like there's an incident down in turn number 1 as well.
Matt Mills has gone off of the racing surface. He has now parked his Chevrolet Silverado up against the tire barriers in the grassy runoff area right in the middle of turns 1 and 2.
As a result, caution is on the speedway. We go under the caution flag for the third time this afternoon, but for the first time for cause for an incident on the racetrack. Again, it was driver Matt Mills, and it happened over on the east side of the course in front of Tim Catalfamo.
Matt Mills just went off of the racing service, Kurt Becker, into the grassy runoff area. The left front of his blue, red, and white Chevrolet Silverado is pinned up against the black tire barriers, which is to the left of the racing surface. There is an AMR safety truck that is now just pulled onto the scene. Matt kind of had a slow stop against the tire barriers. He didn't jam it in there or hit the tire barriers with a lot of force, but nonetheless, the truck has stopped. There are now 2 safety trucks that have arrived on the scene attending to Matt Mills in turn 2.
There will be minimal damage to the Matt Mills truck once they get it towed back out onto the surface and out of the grass. I anticipate that truck being able to continue on in this race for the final 10 laps. We thought it was going to be a fairly short green flag run to the finish of about 23 laps or so, and now we're going to have less than 10 to run when we get the restart.
We will, and Corey Heim, his advantage had been 2.5 seconds, and he had built that up in the course of about 12 or 13 laps or so, but that all goes out the window now as the field will bunch back up behind the pace car in just a moment, coming down to the final laps to settle things here this afternoon.
DIYers, ever start a project thinking this'll be quick, only for it to be anything but? We've all been there, and that's why you need Craftsman, DIYer's most trusted brand. Craftsman's V20 battery works across drills, saws, trimmers, mowers, and over 100 other products from the house to the backyard and beyond. No dead stops, no refuels, just grab, swap, and get it done. Because your project might fight back, but your tools shouldn't. Head to Craftsman.com to learn more. Craftsman, build on.
Whether it's handling NASCAR toughest tracks or on your personal car, Goodyear has a tire for you. Visit Goodyear.com to learn more about the complete tire lineup, including the high-performance Eagle F1 Asymmetric 6, the rugged all-terrain Wrangler Boulder MT, and the all-weather Assurance Weather Ready 2 passenger tire. Goodyear has been building the world's finest tires for more than 125 years and continues to lead in technology and innovation. Goodyear, still, always, forever.
Corey Heim, the leader, under the caution, with Lane Riggs in second. Connor Mozak is third. Ty Majeski fourth. Jordan Taylor completes the top five. From Lime Rock Park, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
We are under the green flag.
Listen up, NASCAR fans. Now's the time to turn your love of racing into big-time prizes. Because NASCAR Fantasy Live is your fast lane to bragging rights.
Furious racing here.
Pick 5 drivers each week of the season. Then complete additional challenges to stack points. All for your shot at the grand prize.
So let's get this party started.
For official rules and to learn more, visit NASCAR.com/fantasy and sign up today.
Relive the thrills of over 50 years of NASCAR racing with the Motor Racing Network's Classic Race.
36th Annual Southern 500. They come down to the start-finish line. Bill Elliott and David Pearson get down.
We dig into the MRN audio vault for unforgettable races and moments.
Dale Jarrett's got the lead. Earnhardt's not going to get him. Dale Jarrett is going to win the Daytona 500.
Available on MRN.com and podcast platforms.
Alan Kulwicki out of turn number 4, the new Winston Cup champion. He does it across the line.
MRN Classic Races.
This is Ty Majeski. You're listening to all the play-by-play action of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Welcome back to Lime Rock Park. Just 8 laps to go in the Liona 150 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series as we work under the caution flag. Pit road is open. A few drivers running near the tail end of the top 20, just inside the top 25, taking the advantage to come to the pit lane for service. They include Josh Balicki, Daniel Hemrick, Tanner Gray, also Jake Garcia, Stuart Friesen, and Matt Crafton.
Been a tale of 2 seasons for our race leader, Corey Heim, who is probably the only driver that did not want to see this caution flag. You talk about all the wins, 4 in total so far coming into today, but there's been a lot of races where he has led the most laps and something has happened late, like last week at Pocono when he won stage number 2, then suffered a flat tire under the caution flag while leading at lap number 61. A couple weeks ago at the Michigan International Speedway, was involved in an incident on lap number 121. At Nashville, although he was able to salvage a good day, finished in the second spot, led 58 laps, top 2 in both stages, and lost the lead on a lap 99 pit stop. It goes on and on. A flat tire at Martinsville earlier this year, a fuel issue at Rockingham after leading so many laps. So he's always toward the front of the field, has capitalized on being at the front 4 times with the win, but he has also suffered some other issues while being at the front.
Those 14, stage wins that he's had this year, he's led right at 1,000 laps just on this season alone. I don't think anybody else has led more than maybe a couple of hundred at most. So you're right, Kyle. Corey Heim has a lot of time week to week at the front of the field. Doesn't really matter if it's a short track, a super speedway, a road course, or what it is, just like we've seen today. And he has been the dominant driver since the start of the afternoon. And right now, just checking around the racetrack, a problem, an assist by the tow truck on the racetrack for one of the Hallmar Friesen racing team entries. Wesley Slimp is getting the push as his truck now has stalled on the course. But again, all part of the same caution, which we have been working ever since Matt Mills found his way into the tire barrier down in turn 1.
980 laps led for Corey Heim this season. Second on the list, Rajah Caruth at 189. That's just the dominant type of season that 11 team has had.
And we have seen that continue here this afternoon all day long. Don't forget, the action continues later today. The ARCA Menard Series is to go racing shortly after 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Motor Racing Network will be here to bring you live coverage of that one, which will be the Lime Rock Park 150. We're glad to bring you that coverage a little bit later here this afternoon. Won't be too long, in fact, as we continue to work under the caution flag here. Just 7 laps remaining for the Liuna 150 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, but we do continue to work under the caution flag. Again, just 3 cautions for 11 laps here this afternoon.
Let's tell you where your favorite driver is running as they cross the start-finish line now, and the Wesley Slimp truck being pushed back to pit road. That truck, it looks like, out of power and coasting off of turn 7 and onto the pit lane. Corey Heim is the race leader. Lane Riggs in second. Connor Mosak in third. Ty Majeski fourth. Jordan Taylor, in his debut in this series, has been in the top 5 all day and is currently in 5th. Chandler Smith in the 6th position. Then it's Caden Honeycutt 7th. Rajah Caruth 8th. Thomas Annunziata in 9th. And Brent Cruz also in his series debut in 10th.
Grant Enfinger 11th. Cam Waters is 12th, Gio Ruggiero 13th, with Ben Rhodes 14th, Tyler Ankrum 15th, Andres Perez de Lara is in 16th spot, Jack Wood, who started dead last on the day back in 34th, he's up to the 17th position. Ben Mayer, the 16-year-old driver in his series debut, is 18th, Josh Balicki 19th, and Jake Garcia 20th.
Stuart Friesen runs in the 21st position, Tanner Gray in 22nd, Daniel Hemrick 23rd. A lot of these trucks just on the pit lane a lap ago receiving service. Matt Crafton had that off a couple laps back and will restart in 24th after making an unscheduled stop under the green flag. Dale Quarterly runs in 25th, the first truck off of the lead lap. Then William Lambros, Tony Breidinger, Frankie Muniz, Matt Mills, and Timmy Hill in 30th. Wesley Slimp in the 31st position, that truck on the pit lane. Dawson Sutton 32nd, Spencer Boyd in 33rd, and Alex LeBay in 34th.
We've talked about the fact that coming into this race, the 3 drivers that are just above the cut line for the playoffs, Caden Honeycutt, Grant Enfinger, and Ty Majeski, and how they needed preferably a win, and if not a win, as many stage points as they could gather up today. Well, the good news is for them, they have gotten a number of stage points in each case. Jake Garcia, the first driver below the cut line coming into this race, he did not pick up any stage points here today. As things currently stand, Jake Garcia has gone from 10 points below that cut line to 35 points below the cut line. Here's the good news for all of those drivers. It helps their cause if there is a repeat winner, someone that's already won this season who goes to victory lane today. So at least the top 2 drivers right now, as we get ready to go back under the green flag, Corey Heim, Lane Riggs, they both have already won. They both have already nailed down a playoff spot.
You mentioned Jake Garcia. 10 points out coming into today, 35 now, and that's because he is currently 23rd on the racetrack. It's been a tough afternoon for Jake. Gio Ruggiero also well out, came into today 12th in points, 58 out. And really haven't talked too much about Gio, currently 13th on the racetrack as we're going to go green this time by as we continue to watch that playoff grid shuffle, getting ever so closer to setting the 10-driver playoff field, which is led, no surprise, Corey Heim, 32 playoff points coming into today. We'll add a couple at least to that total with a couple of stage wins already this afternoon and extend his advantage over Chandler Smith, Lane Riggs, Tyler Ankrum, some of the other winners from earlier this season.
Again, those remaining 3 races after today, the last 3 of the regular season, short track, road course, short track. It's Lucas Oil, Indianapolis Raceway Park, then off to Watkins Glen International, and then to Richmond, Virginia. Those will be the final 3 races of the regular season for this NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Pace truck goes to pit road. Here comes the field off turn number 7. We'll get the green flag with 5 laps to go as they come down to the line. And this time, Lane Riggs tries to get the jump on Corey Heim. Back to turn 1.
Lane Riggs fighting for the lead with Corey Heim. Lane Riggs is off the racetrack. He's into the grassy runoff area in turn 2. A huge cloud of smoke gets kicked up as other drivers make their way through. It's Corey Heim, the race leader. He has got Ty Majeski right on his back. back bumper, headed to the Paul Newman straight.
Big momentum for Ty Majeski out of turn number 4 down the Paul Newman straightaway. Corey Heim has about a 3-truck length lead as they negotiate the right-hander. Up the hill they go. Ty Majeski trying to close in. Gio Ruggiero in third, and Ben Rhodes in the top 5.
Ty Majeski trying to reel in the race leader, but he's got a good 4 solid truck lengths to do so as Ruggiero slides into third. Ben Rhodes right behind him.
Jordan Taylor and Rajah Caruth, 2 drivers that restarted in the top 10, won't be there this time around because they went off course on the restart. A lot of contact in turn number 1 sent those 2 trucks to the back of the field, and now Stuart Friesen showing a whole lot of tire smoke here on the front straightaway, running mid-pack as the leaders in 2.
A lot of trucks beaten and battered right now after that restart contact in turn number 1. All the while, though, Corey Heim has been able to reassume the race lead. He leads by 4 truck lengths over Ty Majeski, Ruggiero, and Ben Rhodes, the top 4.
Yeah, Heim just trying to run away here from the chaos behind with Majeski holding on to second. Then it's 2 truck lengths back to Gio Ruggiero. Ben Rhodes back there as well. And Cam Waters doing a nice job before a gaggle of race trucks, including Chandler Smith and Josh Balicki.
Up front, already working off turn number 6 is Corey Heim as he continues to lead the way in scenic Lime Rock Park. Corey Heim looking for another one. Farther back, trouble goes. Lane Riggs, what a save. Tanner Gray and Lane Riggs made contact, and Lane Riggs somehow was able to hold on to that truck.
Here they come now off turn 7 across the line. Corey Heim, the race leader. Ty Majeski rides in second. He said he thought he would have a good afternoon. He's at least in a good position here, Tim, with 3 to go.
Majeski's giving it his best right now, trying to stay with Corey Heim, but that has been a tall order for all the drivers today. Through turn 4, Corey Heim adds another truck length to his lead over Ty Majeski.
Time to figure out if Ty has the aggression level to try to catch up to Corey Heim, who has set sail out in front of this field. Majeski still not playing defense yet with Gio Ruggiero, but Ben Rhodes starting to close in on that 4th spot.
He is, Chris, as they work down the back straight. Ben Rhodes is right there all over the back bumper of Gio Ruggiero. They work off the west bend downhill to turn 7.
2 drivers that we just talked about a couple minutes ago that we haven't heard from much at the front of the field here this afternoon. Gio Ruggiero is up to 3rd, Ben Rhodes 4th. Cam Waters finds himself in the top 5. They're all behind Corey Heim, who has pulled away to a 1.2-second lead with 2 laps to go.
Corey Heim works his way out of turn number 2. Now racing to the left-hander in turn number 3. He's got about 5 truck lengths still over second-place driver Ty Majeski. It's another 3 back to Gio Ruggiero in 3rd. 2 back to Ben Rhodes in 4th. They're off 4.
Corey Heim continues to have the lead against Ty Majeski, but we're going to continue to watch Ben Rhodes try to close in on Gio Ruggiero. These front 5 have now separated themselves by 8 truck lengths over Cam Waters, and then Chandler Smith and Josh Balicki.
The top 4 all working through turn 6 right now. You got to go all the way back to Jake Garcia, Cam Waters, who rides in 5th. Everybody, though, still chasing Corey Heim into turn 7.
No driver in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series has ever won 3 consecutive road course races. Corey Heim is trying to change that. 1.5 miles to go. White flag in the air. He's back to turn 1.
It has been a perfect Saturday afternoon cruise for Corey Heim on a beautiful day here in Lime Rock Park. He leads by 5 truck lengths still over Ty Majeski. Through turn 3 for the final time. Heim hits the throttle, works his way to turn 4, exits the corner and heads down the Paul Newman straight.
In the bask of sunshine, Corey Heim trying to be Mr. Perfect at Lime Rock, easily through the right-hander in turn number 5. Corey Heim up the hill for the final time.
Rumbling through the hills and down the back straight for the final time today. Corey Heim, nothing to worry about, out the back. Final time off the west bend, downhill to turn 7.
A near perfect afternoon for Corey Heim, who comes off of turn 7 and onto the front straightaway, leading all but 1 lap here at Lime Rock Park to take the checkered flag and the win in the Liuna 150. Heim's 16th career win here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. 5th of the season, a dominant performance, picking up the checkered flag by 1.3 seconds over Ty Majeski as we go to pit road.
Down here celebrating on pit road, Scott Zipadelli, crew chief here, Scott Zipadelli. It's a home state dominating win for you, Scott. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I got to thank a lot of people in this group right here. Just not quit. We've had a lot of adversity with losing races for crazy reasons, and these boys, they never quit. they just want to work, and man, my hat's off to everybody. Corey did an amazing job as well.
Good stuff. Scott Zipadelli here in the home state of Connecticut picks up the win here as the crew chief for Corey Heim.
That is the 29th career win in this series as a crew chief for Scott Zipadelli. Career win number 16 for driver Corey Heim.
We are under the green flag.
Listen up, NASCAR fans. Now's the time to turn your love of racing into big-time prizes. Because NASCAR Fantasy Live is your fast lane to bragging rights.
Furious racing here.
Pick 5 drivers each week of the season. Then complete additional challenges to stack points. All for your shot at the grand prize.
So let's get this party started.
For official rules and to learn more, visit NASCAR.com/fantasy and sign up today.
This is Kyle Larson.
I'm David Grau.
Hi, I'm Donnie Shaw.
This is Brian Brown. This is Danny Dietrich.
Wing Nation is your go-to destination for all the latest sprint car news and interviews from the stars of sprint car racing from around the country. This is Steve Post. Aaron Evernham, Ashley Strummy, and I will have all the latest news, insights, and conversations on Wing Nation's YouTube or Facebook pages, or listen and download and subscribe to Wing Nation on any podcast platform.
Wing Nation.
Wing Nation. Wing Nation.
Wing Nation.
Wing Nation. All sprint cars, all the time.
NASCAR Live Race Day continues on the NASCAR Racing Network.
Here at Lime Rock Park in Northwest Connecticut, it was all Corey Heim from the drop of the green flag, technically going back to qualifying at 9:30 Eastern Time this morning. He won the pole. He led all but one lap here this afternoon, led at the end of both stages, swept the stages, goes to victory lane. We'll be hearing from him in just a few moments.
Wayne Riggs ruining that perfect day. Just a couple laps left in this race. Was able to pick up a lap led here this afternoon, leading one circuit. But other than that, it was Heim time at the front of the field. Corey Heim leading 99 of 100 laps to claim his 5th win of the season. The team continues to celebrate just at the start-finish line. As he continues to celebrate, let's go down trackside and hear from our runner-up finisher with Jason.
He's sitting down there. We're talking about Ty Majeski. Brings it home in the runner-up spot. Talking things over with third-place finisher Gio Ruggiero. We'll talk to him in a moment. And Ty, you know you needed some points here to get you that little more cushion as you get ready to go short-track racing. You come up second here today. How did you guys do it?
Yeah, honestly, we struggled with the truck a little bit to fire off, and we kept getting better progressively each and every run. So, yeah, got it close at the end. I had a shot at Corey, and probably got a little overzealous there in 4 and hit a curb, and kind of ruined my shot to at least make him a little bit nervous and see if I could force him into a mistake. From there, he just got too much breathing room and was kind of able to do his thing. So, overall, really good day. This is the point we want to turn our season around. Going to IRP, then Watkins Glen and Richmond next. So 3 really good tracks for us, and excited for this playoff stretch.
All right, there you go. Ty Majeski, good points today, brings it home in the second spot. We'll slide back here in the third position. Gio Ruggiero brings it home in the third spot here for Gio. Hey, Gio, congratulations on that run. Good top 5 for you. How about it?
Yeah, just fought hard all day. We knew there was going to be a lot of attrition in this race. Everybody clipped it pretty clean for the first half. Kind of surprised by that, but just good hard racing all day. It was super hard to pass out there, so passing on those restarts in turn 1 and 2 was pretty important, and I knew I had to do something that last one there without being too aggressive. But once I saw him going down the grass on the inside in the front straightaway, I knew it was not going to be good getting into one. So just kind of backed the corner up a little bit and tried to stay out of the mess.
All right, Gio Ruggiero brings it home in the third spot. It was 3 of the 5 trucks in the top 5 here for Thor Sport, and we'll check in with them in just a moment.
And that third truck will be Ben Rhodes that we'll hear from here in just a moment. Let's go down to victory lane first, though, presented by Goodyear, building tires for more than 125 years. From the track to the street and in all conditions, Goodyear has a tire for you. Goodyear, still, always, forever. Steve Post with our race winner.
Corey Heim down here for the 5th time this season gets a big handshake from crew chief Scott Zipadelli. Corey, congratulations on the win here today. Just kind of describe the way the day unfolded for you.
Yeah, I mean, just, getting the pole was a big deal from the very start. Super thankful for the speed in this Tricon Tundra. Everyone at Toyota Safe Flight for making it happen. I feel like we were able to control the race, obviously, from the get-go and just kind of, keep ourselves up front there. But just a lot of speed today. And I feel like it all paid off, with working really hard on a pre-event. Really didn't know kind of what to bring here with these trucks. I don't think they've ever been at Lime Rock, so it wasn't easy to prepare for in general. But, clearly we did the best job. So just so thankful for my Tri-Con guys. This thing was a rocket ship today, and looking forward to the next one.
What was going through your mind the way the season has unfolded when that late race caution come out? What was going through your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's so favorable to be on the driver's right into the corner and in turn one that if I just didn't do anything completely crazy, you know, I think I would have been okay. And I saw that the left side lane got a really good push, and Lane kind of edged out in front of me there into one. But, you know, he drove to like the 300, 300 or 200 marker. And I knew from the very get-go that wasn't going to work out, so then he went off track. But I kind of just focused on what I needed to do personally, hit my marks, and you know, it paid off.
Do you pay attention to weird stats like first Craftsman Truck Series driver to win 3 straight road courses? What does that mean to you when you hear things that nobody has ever done before?
Yeah, it's really cool. You know, I feel like I don't know. I mean, it definitely takes a really good team. So to be able to do this with this organization and this group, we've had pretty much the exact same roster from the very start at Tri-Con here since 2023. So I think the experience really pays off, and just being so confident coming to the racetrack with such a good Tundra. You know, and it all paying off once again.
Congratulations. Enjoy.
Appreciate that. Thanks.
Corey Heim going to celebrate with his crew down here as they build a makeshift victory lane right at the start-finish line. Picks up the win, his 5th win of the season here in 2025.
All right, thank you, Steve. Let's check back in with Jason Toy.
Ben Rhodes brings it home with the 4th spot. Good points day for you guys here. How was the run?
Yeah, the run was solid. It's frustrating when you qualify 19th, right? We missed a little bit in qualifying with our adjustments, and we were, I would say, like, you know, top 10, top 5 truck. There was people up there running all day that we were around in practice that I thought we had a faster truck than that. But, you know, the last caution was pretty crazy. I wanted the inside row, so the right side of the racetrack for the choose cone, and we ended up getting it. I couldn't believe it, and we didn't even lose a lane to make that happen. And I was really worried about what's going to happen in turns 1 and 2 on the restart, and, you know, that came to fruition and was a big blessing for us. But all in all, our T-Sport F-150 was fast. I didn't feel like I got to showcase it today. It's hard to set up a pass coming off of turn 7 into turn 1. You're dealing with people trying to outbrake you and getting the proper run to set it up in the first place.
All right, good run today. Brings it home to the 4th spot. That's Ben Rhodes.
Driver, we really didn't talk about much for much of the event except from the last restart on. The final few laps has been moved into the top 5. A good points day, but he's going to need at least 3 more good point days and probably a win to have a shot at the playoffs here coming up 3 races from now. Go back down trackside in a moment, hear from Cam Waters, who finished in the 5th spot. Well, great day for Cam here in his one of his few appearances here in NASCAR's National Series, finishing in the 5th spot, Steve Post.
Cam Waters down here, sitting down, catching a breather here. Cam, 5th place. How did you do it?
Passed some trucks, had a really fast truck to be able to do that, and then everyone ran off in front of me. So that was I was pretty happy when they were all running off.
Well, thanks to the team there on the radio. What a absolutely fantastic truck race. And we'll be back with all of the action ready for the Cup Series. That's on tonight, 11:30 British Summer Time. Join us then for the action. Thanks for your company from Lime Rock Park. Bye-bye.